Dakota Pro Air is a locally family-owned business that has been taking care of farmers' aerial needs since 2020. With locations in Letcher and Miller, Dakota Pro Air is able to provide service to a large area. Ground conditions too wet or just don't want those sprayer tracks in your field? Give Dakota Pro Air a call for all your chemical and fertilizer application needs at 605-248-2314.
The innocence of youth. Is there anything any better? But soon they'll be in high school and facing all the same challenges you faced. How to make friends, how to fit in, how to be cool. We want our children to have everything they'll need to live fulfilling and productive lives. Make sure the kids in your family are among the more than 57,000 participants here in South Dakota who take part in high school sports or activities.
Bank West is rooted in South Dakota. Committed to local success. Just like you. We're all connected. In South Dakota. For South Dakota. Convenient, connected, committed. Bank West.
Dakota Pro Air is a locally family-owned business that has been taking care of farmers' aerial needs since 2020. With locations in Letcher and Miller, Dakota Pro Air is able to provide service to a large area. Ground conditions too wet or just don't want those sprayer tracks in your field? Give Dakota Pro Air a call for all your chemical and fertilizer application needs at 605-248-2314.
When life gets hard and our thoughts get too much to bear, finding the resiliency within us can help us find healing. The 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline provides 24/7 free support for anyone in suicidal distress or emotional crisis. All texts and calls are anonymous and connect you to local resources that uphold cultural values and pave the way to healing. Find the strength within you. Find the strength within our culture. Reach out if you need help today.
Explore the 2023 Lincoln Navigator at Capital City Ford in Lincoln. Every time you approach your Lincoln, you'll receive a re-carpet welcome. Twin turbocharged 3.5 V6 engine with auto start stop technology. You'll travel confidently with technology that meets all your needs. Now you can get the 2023 Navigator for 5.9% at 72 months. Stop in to see the full vehicle lineup at Capital City Ford in Lincoln. Capital City Ford in Pierce, South Dakota.
What if we said a bank isn't a place to lock up money? It's a place to set it free. What if the point of banking wasn't to bank at all, but to put your ideas to work? What if your bank asked, what if, a little more? Well, what if we told you we do? We're American Bank and Trust, where what if meets why not? If you're ready to change what you get out of banking, start a relationship with us. What if you made the move today?
The Corner Station Convenience Store and the Crossing Pub are both conveniently located on Pleasant Drive in Pierce, South Dakota. At the Corner Station, grab your favorite hot and cold beverages and snacks while filling your vehicle up with Cenex brand gasoline. The Corner Station also features a super tunnel car wash to keep your vehicle sparkling clean. At the Crossing, grab a cold beverage and check out their selection of appetizers while watching the Stanley County Buffaloes and Pierre Governors live on their big screen televisions. Best of luck to all area students from the Corner Station and the Crossing.
Futures aren't made by accident. They're dreamt, they're planned, they're discovered. At Northern State University, futures are the result of hard work and grit. NSU is an academic powerhouse with a spirit of exploration and genuine support, where professors know your name and push you to discover what you're truly capable of. But don't take our word for it. When you experience Northern, you'll see the difference here.
Graham Tire of Pierce.
Rockwell takes it to the house, breaks the tackle of Baston, trying to stiff arm his lane. Now reversing field, coming back this way. He's got a little bit of a lane across the 20. Breaks the tackle, stiff arm into the end zone. What a run and what a touchdown from Stanley County. There's a snap, looking left, firing that way. Picked off and going back the other way is Paxton Deal. He's got nobody in his way but green grass and a touchdown for the Buffaloes. Pick 6, bring it on home.
This broadcast of high school sports on KGFX is brought to you by Avera Health, First Dakota National Bank, Access Health, Stanley County Booster Club, Zander Auto Parts, Oahe Federal Credit Union, Bauman Lumber, and Ferding Electric. This broadcast is also brought to you by these in-game sponsors: South Dakota Office of Highway Safety, Bank West, DRG News App, South Dakota Attorney General's Office, Division of Consumer Protection, Agtegra, CHS River Plains, Family Dental of Pierre and Gettysburg, Bauman Lumber, and Wagner Auto. And now, the pregame show.
What do they say? It's good news and good luck to have rain on your wedding day. Well, they've got rain right here on the inaugural game at Ole Williamson Field with the brand new turf, brand new press box and bleachers. As the rain continues to fall, the Stanley County Buffaloes are out in their home purples, getting warmed up and trying to stay warm out there on a cool night as the rain continuing to pour down. Hello, everybody. Justin Coward coming to you live from the spick new press box here at Ole Williamson Field. It's a dark night, heavy clouds over top with rain pouring down, lightning off in the distance, but it looks like we're going to play here after about a 50-minute or so delay. We want to welcome you into the broadcast as we get set for kickoff here about 15 minutes or so away. We welcome you into the Bank West pregame show. We also hope you're enjoying this coverage on KGFX. You can also watch live on drgnews.com, or you can download the DRG News app to make your listening experience much more streamlined and much more enjoyable. Stanley County and Parkston both looking for their first win on the season. Stanley County fell to Hill City 72-32 last week in Game 1. And the Parkston Trojans went down to Marion Freeman Academy last week by a final score of 20-6. It's certainly a different-looking Parkston Trojan, this team, than we saw a year ago. There's one major piece missing for the Trojans and Coulter Kramer. We'll talk a little bit more in the Bank West pregame show about how they try to supplement that missing talent. But it's a Stanley County team that has a new look themselves. We saw it last week with a no-huddle offense, a little bit more air raid offense out of this Buffalo offense, which is being run by Weston Prince. We talked to Coach Max Foth a little bit about his expectations for Prince and how pleased he's been with the toughness that Prince has shown. And we'll get into all of that. And it is wet. It is rainy, but the South Dakota Office of Highway Safety reminds you to drive slow. Slow the drive. Arrive alive. You've got some place to be, and hopefully that place is Ole Williamson Field here tonight as we are true prime time getting ready for kick as the clock winds down. There's a lot of new additions here to Ole Williamson Field. You've probably seen it already. The brand new turf field is looking ever so beautiful. The new press box here on the opposite side of the field facing away from some sunlight that I'm sure is hiding behind those black clouds hanging over above. The new bleachers have been installed, and they are almost completely filled out as the fans make their way from the parking lot where they were sitting in their trucks out here underneath us. A lot of umbrellas out, but a lot of fans bearing the weather here tonight. We've got other broadcasts going here this evening as the Pierre Governors open up their season across the way in Pierre. Not sure what the update on that kickoff is, but if they're playing over here in Fort Pierre, then they should be able to play over in Pierre as well. The officials have made their way out. They're heading out to talk to Coach Max Foth as they're going to have the final say on when we can get this thing going, but both teams are out warming up and getting ready to go. You know, we talked a little bit about this Parkston Trojan team and the way that they lost last week. They used to run that double wing offense pretty heavily last year when they had that guy Colton Kramer in the backfield toting the rock, but he has graduated and they've had to look different places. They'll rely on guys like Mason Jervik, Rico Mullenberg, and Maxon Bax to try to carry the load. And talking to the Parkston Trojan head coach, he told me, he said, you know what, you can't replace a guy like Coulter Kramer. All you can hope for is that you have guys that can kind of step up and fill that role. And they certainly have a lot of leaders that they have kind of leaned on here early on in the season. A lot of those guys, quiet leaders. Gage Reichert is one of them. Trayson Weatherford, a guy who transferred in, coming from ACDC last season, bringing some of that leadership with him this year. Gage Jadozi, another guy, along with Maxon Bax and Rico Mullenberg. It's kind of a split feeling for this Trojan team where they've got a couple guys that are seniors, only 5 seniors, 5 sophomores, and the rest are freshmen and juniors. So it's kind of been tough for them to feel out where their leaders have been. This is also a Trojan team that is not really used to losing in the regular season. They haven't lost in the regular season, really haven't lost at home in what seems like eons, but they did last week, and the coaching staff trying to implore to them, listen, it's one loss, it's the beginning of the season, there's a lot of football left to play, and we're going to see a little bit of two different styles of offense out of the Trojans tonight. As I mentioned, we'll see that double wing offense, but they'll also spread things out, run a pro-style offense. They seem more comfortable running the offense out of the double wing, something that they have done for plenty of years in years past, but when that starts to kind of falter and defenses start to figure it out, then they'll switch back over to that pro-style offense where they try to air it out a little bit. Stanley County had a lot of success through the air last week on the road against Hill City. You look at the scoreboard of the final score of that game, and it's a little bit misleading about how Stanley County played the game in its entirety. It was a 9-point ball game at half, and at one point in the first quarter, Stanley County was leading by 3 points, but it was turnovers that did the Buffaloes in. And you talk to a couple coaches on the Stanley County staff, and yes, they have to wear that 40-point loss and the fact that they gave up 72 points to Hill City. However, there was a lot of things you could take away from that game, and like we mentioned a little bit earlier in the Bank West pregame show, one of those positive sides was the quarterback play from Weston Prince. He played absolutely outstanding last week in the first half, making a couple outstanding throws to some of his key athletes in Paxton Deal and Brendan Bothwell. We saw some great focus, some great routes out of Bothwell and Deal, and we hope to see a lot of the same tonight. Now, they'll also be trying to run the ball with Landon Boehm out of the backfield, and that's going to be a very important part of tonight's game, especially with the weather. As wet as it is out there, as much rain, even with the turf as this field has taken, you might see both of these teams kind of lean heavy on the run. Now, Max Foth has said he wants to get as close to 50-50 run and pass with his offense that he can get, but he even leans a little bit more 60-40 in the pass category. When he was looking for a quarterback this season, he said, we need somebody that emulates toughness. We need somebody that's not going to ask to play the position. We're not going to beg them to play the position. We need somebody back there that is going to stay tough, weather adversity well, and we saw that a little bit with Weston Prince last week. He took a huge shot on a touchdown throw downfield. He was laying on his back, but Max Foth pointed out when that touchdown was scored, both arms went up in the air in celebration, and that's the kind of toughness that he is looking for. Now, on paper, when you see what the Parkston Trojans have done to Stanley County, especially last year, when Stanley County fell to Parkston in the beginning of the season, week 2, 52-16, and then in the playoffs, 58-6, you would probably think, hey, this might be a walk in the park for the Trojans here tonight. Not the case. The Stanley County Buffalo team comes in with a ton of confidence, and Max Foth said, the guys were walking around the hallways, and some of the teachers were commenting how confident they seemed, and they've seen some bright spots, not only out of their offense, but out of their defense as well. Tegan Breitag had a great week last week reading the option. He certainly made Brenton Venneklausen's night extremely long, and it probably was a long morning for Venneklausen, who was surely feeling some of those hits from Breitag, and we'll see if he can deliver some of those big hits again tonight. We might see a little bit of a different lineup for Stanley County, putting some different guys in different places, but of course we'll get to that when we get to kickoff. For now, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk to head coach Max Foth about tonight's keys to success. We'll introduce you to the game officials, and we'll get this thing underway. You're listening to the Bank West pregame show live on KGFX from a rain-soaked but beautiful Ole Williamson Field.
There when you need them the most. Bank West insurance agents Sam Kennecke and Angie Taylor are here to make your life easier.
As an independent agency, we're able to customize an insurance plan to fit your individual needs.
We work with dozens of companies to find you the best possible coverage and the best price.
For your insurance needs, contact Sam or Angie at Bank West Insurance and Pier. Bank West, convenient, connected, committed. Insurance products are not deposits, not FDIC insured, not insured by any federal agency, not guaranteed by any bank, and may go down in value.
There's an app for everything, including high school sports, from the stations of DRG Media Group. Download the DRG News app from the App Store or Google Play. It takes only a moment, so you'll have it in time for this game. See live and archive video of all games. And when you select your favorite station during the live stream, the video will immediately pop up. See Central South Dakota High School Sports on your phone or mobile device with the DRG News app. Download it now from the App Store or Google Play. Access Health Fort Pierre welcomes new and established patients, offering chronic and acute care for all ages, including evaluations for illness and injuries, immunizations, lab testing, wellness exams, and DOT and sports physicals. Same-day appointments are available, and most major insurances are accepted. Good luck this season, athletes, from Access Health, Fort Pierre, assuring access to quality health care.
Stanley County Booster Club welcomes staff and students back to school for the 25-26 school year. If you have noticed all the great changes on the Stanley County campus, it's internal too. So get your commemorative 30th edition of the Booster Club calendar, find some new purple and gold gear at their Buff store, and come out to see the staff, students, activities, and facilities. Proud to be a Buffalo and inviting you to join us. We're the Stanley County Booster Club.
At Avera Orthopedics, we're transforming pain into possibility every day. Whether you're chasing a personal best or simply want to enjoy life to the fullest, our specialized care is designed to help you feel better and stronger. We're here for you. No referral needed. Trust Avera Orthopedics to unlock a world of endless possibilities. Visit avera.org/orthopedics and start your journey from pain to possibility today.
First Dakota has been named South Dakota's Best in State Bank by Forbes. And while we appreciate the recognition, we don't really plan to celebrate. We'll just keep doing what we do best. Serve customers buying or refinancing homes. Support farmers in their long-term plans. Finance the growth of area businesses. And help our South Dakota communities thrive. If you want to experience Best in State service, call or visit with the First Dakota banker today. First Dakota National Bank, member FDIC.
Driven by the Office of Highway Safety, 1060 KTFX Pier. Rebroadcasting on K276 GT 103.1 FM, Fort Pierre. Put the phone down, focus on driving.
You may not be able to see it in the stream, but it is raining, and it is raining hard, but it is football weather here at Ole Williamson Field for Week 2 as we creep past the 8 o'clock hour. We welcome you back into the Bank West pregame show where we are minutes away from kickoff. We're about to have our national anthem. Before we do that, let's meet some of the players here tonight. You'll see a lot of guys for the Parkston Trojans playing both ways. On offense, we'll see Mason Jervik, Rico Mullenberg, Maxon Bax, Gage Reichert, Bryson Bruning. Those two guys between Reichert and Bruning are going to swap between the quarterback position. And talking to the head coach of the Parkston Trojans, Matt Graves, you know what he told me? He said, hey, it's a kind of a feel thing. You never know how nervous one guy's going to be before kickoff of a game, so maybe you go with the other guy. So it's all of a feel thing, and we'll get more into that quarterback battle as we dive deeper. Jackson Leichner is going to be playing some tight end for the offense and be playing on defense. We'll see a little bit of Sergio Bracchi on defense here this evening for the Trojans. Trayson Weatherford, that transfer in, will be playing both sides of the football, as will Wyatt Anderson, Johnny Weber, Quaden Colbert, along with Gage Jadozi. We'll see a little bit of Trey Boddicker as well. On the offensive side for the Stanley County Buffaloes tonight, Jackson Hofteaser will get his first start at guard for this season. Trevor Caldwell will be snapping the ball to Weston Prince behind center. Tegan Breitag will also be playing guard as well. Case Colda will be today's tight end. Ryder Roseland, Paxton Deal, and Brendan Bothwell will be the receivers on either side of Prince. Landon Bain will be in the backfield taking off handoffs from Prince. And on the defensive side of the ball, we'll see some Safe Cronin at nose tackle, who we saw a little bit of last week. Tegan Breitag will be playing defensive end. Jace Hand will be on the other end opposite Breitag. The linebacker core will be made up of Ezra Rutherford, Case Colda, Whit Myers, and Landon Bain. Paxton Deal and Brendan Bothwell will be floating in between safety and cornerback here this evening. They are mentioning and introducing the Flagstaff here in the color guard as they're about to sing the national anthem, so it's a perfect time here as we get set for kickoff moments away to hear from head coach Max Foth about what he expects to see from tonight's matchup and out of his team. Before we get to Max Foth, I did want to talk a little bit about the pride that he held and seeing that offense that he kind of instilled here in this offseason come to fruition and come to life. It was a very exciting and a long first quarter last week with both teams being no-huddle offenses. We saw both of them kind of pushing the ball down the field quickly, and before we knew it, it was 24-21. So let's hear from head coach Max Foth. After we hear from him, we'll step away for one more break before we get set for kickoff here on KGFX and streaming on drgnews.com. Coach, your first words to me were, how cool is this? Do you want to talk a little bit about what it means to be playing out here in the brand new football complex, and two, how your team is going to handle the nerves and wiping out some of those butterflies come kickoff?
Yeah, it's an awesome experience. You know, I made a note on my call sheet to make sure I take a second, just take a look around and really drink it in before the game gets started. And I'll tell that same message to the team. You know, it's a special complex, and the community really bought into it and be able to do it. And yeah, we're excited to be out here, and hopefully we play as well as this field looks.
And Coach, when we talked earlier this week, we talked a lot about Weston Prince. One thing you reiterated over and over again was his toughness. What has he meant to this team, and how do you feel like he's fallen into that role of starting quarterback?
Yeah, I think that he's as tough as we got on our team, and that's one of our biggest positions is quarterback. And give me a tough kid that's physical and wants to play quarterback and wants to be great, and I'll coach that kid all day long. And I think as he goes, we go, and we're going to go plenty far with Weston Prince as our quarterback.
You know, last week it was a tough loss to Hill City, but the scoreboard didn't reflect how your team played. What do you guys need to do to get even on the season, get the win tonight, and get a little bit of momentum rolling?
Yeah, I think the key is we got to be able to hold on to the ball a little bit better than we did last week. We can't fumble the ball like we did last week. We got to be able to secure that thing. And, you know, I hate to sound cliche, but we got to win the turnover battle. Last week, the ball didn't bounce our way, and we didn't force Hill City into any turnovers. And we got to do that tonight to Parkston and try to get them behind the chains early and get them throwing the ball a little bit more than they want to. And hopefully our older DBs can go make plays in the secondary.
Coach, I ask you this every week. What's going to be the message before you guys run out on this brand spanking new turf field?
Yeah, man, the biggest thing is have fun. You know, it's going to be so fun. We've put in the work. We have the answers to the test. We know what's coming. We know what we got and what we're going to do well. Go out there and let it rip and go play and have fun and really enjoy this moment together.
Best of luck, Coach. Thanks.
Thank you.
That was head coach Max Foth giving us some time down on the field before tonight's game. Now, before we go any further, as the color guard makes their way from the 50-yard line, we'll now hear a word from our friends at the South Dakota Attorney General's Office, Division of Consumer Protection.
Text scams continue to rise, and victims who have lost money to these scams continues to increase. Consumers cannot rely on a text message to be truthful. If you receive a message regarding a fine for missing jury duty, your utilities being shut off or non-payment, toll road fines, or you've won a sweepstakes, these are scams designed with an urgency and the need to send money now. Do not respond to these texts, and you should contact Consumer Protection at 800-300-1986. That's 800-300-1986 for the South Dakota Office of Attorney General's Consumer Protection Division.
Big thanks to the South Dakota Attorney General's Office Division of Consumer Protection for that kind word. Now we're going to introduce both starting lineups down on the field, which means we're going to take a 60-second break. When we come back, we'll tell you what both teams are wearing. We'll tell you who wins the coin toss, and we'll get this thing underway in prime time from Ole Williamson Field. You're listening to Week 2 High School Football, live on KGFX and streaming on drgnews.com.
Venture Communications is proud to sponsor high school sports and the surrounding communities by providing world-class service with a hometown touch. Venture Communications has been offering phone service since 1952. Today, Venture provides fiber-to-home service for 100% of their customers, which means super fast internet streaming of your favorite games and much more. Visit VentureCom with 2 M's, venturecom.net for more information or to pay your bill online.
When you need building supplies, there's no need to go anywhere except to Bauman Lumber in Fort Pierre. Bauman Lumber is locally owned and offers quality products, expert advice, free estimates, and free local delivery for large or small projects. Whether it's a home improvement project, remodel job, or all new construction, they even welcome special orders. Quality building materials and affordable prices for residential or commercial projects can be found at Bauman Lumber, 1223 Sale Barn Road, Fort Pierre, or call 223-9762.
First Dakota has been named South Dakota's best in state bank by Forbes. And while we appreciate the recognition, we don't really plan to celebrate. We'll just keep doing what we do best. Serve customers buying or refinancing homes. Support farmers in their long-term plans. Finance the growth of area businesses. And help our South Dakota communities thrive. If you want to experience best in state service, call or visit with the First Dakota banker today. First Dakota National Bank, member FDIC.
Xander Auto Parts, the only local auto parts store in the Fort Pierre area, has been serving Central South Dakota for over 40 years. They're a trusted name when it comes to automotive parts and supplies. Their knowledgeable staff is dedicated to assisting you in finding exactly what you need. Convenience is also a top priority. They're located at 500 Sioux Avenue, Xander Auto Parts. They support area youth in their activities. When you need auto parts or supplies, shop Xander Auto Parts, your auto value parts store.
And receiver is senior number 11, Paxton Deal.
Football weather here at Ole Williamson Field. The rain is letting up slightly as the lights light up the new turf field here in Fort Pierre. We just met the Parkston Trojans, and now we meet the Stanley County Buffaloes. Parkston in their road white jerseys with blue numerals, blue helmets, and blue pants. They've got an orange and white stripe down either side of those blue pants. Stanley County in their home purples with the gold bottoms and the blue and white, or purple and white stripes rather, down the side. White helmets with the buffalo stretched across either side. They make their way here to the near sideline. Beautiful setting for some football here tonight. We were a little bit unsure if we were going to get tonight's game in with the weather moving through. You know, that cell that was cresting a top here over Fort Pierre was not really doing much. It was just kind of circling the area, and we were all kind of hunkered down up here in the press box when we realized that the Stanley County Buffaloes were running out on the field to get warmed up. We couldn't believe our eyes, but they are set as the captains now make their way out to midfield for tonight's coin toss. The captains for the Stanley County Buffaloes are going to be Tegan Breitag. Alongside him is Paxton Deal, Landon Bame to his right, and Case Coldup making their way out to midfield. Here for the Parkston Trojans, their starters and captains tonight will be Gage Jadozzi. They'll be joined by Wyatt Anderson along with Craig Colbert and number 2, Mason Jervik, as those guys get set. The other captain, Gage Reichert, actually. That 10 looked like a 4 from all the way up here through the rain-soaked screen. But, man, what a perfect way to kick off this brand-new field at Ole Williamson Field with a little bit of a rainstorm. Again, some dark clouds hanging over top, but we envision that we should be good to go for kickoff. Here as the coin is tossed, it lands on the beautiful Buffalo right at midfield. Looks like Stanley County won the toss. They're deciding what they want to do. It'll be the Stanley County Buffaloes who will be on the right side. Parkston will receive the opening half kick, so we'll get to see this kind of dual quarterback threat offense. We'll be very interested to see what kind of scheme they come out in. If they're going to run that double wing, if they're going to try to line up in that pro style. Going to be tough to throw the ball, especially for a team over the past couple of years that hasn't really done much of throwing the ball. You see it from time to time, but they don't really have that one guy that can take the top off the offense like we saw with Coulter Kramer in years past. Stanley County will be kicking off from right to left on your radio dial. A lot of towels out there with our referee crew trying to keep that ball nice and dry. Good luck with that tonight, boys. And I'll be interested to see, too, Stanley County leaned heavy on the pass game last week. It was something that the Parkston Trojans dealt with against Marion Freeman Academy and did not deal with it too well. There was a lot of cushion on their cornerbacks defensively, and, well, the Academy took high advantage of that, throwing a lot of little slant routes underneath, but that was something that Stanley County took advantage of against Hill City. We saw Paxton Deal rip off a couple big plays, including one that went for a touchdown but was called back via penalty, but it was still a great play nonetheless. Back to return here for the Parkston Trojans. It looks like Mason Jervik, and he stands alongside Sean Deckert. Sean Deckert had some returns last week for Parkston, and that was Freeman Academy trying to keep it out of the hands of Mason Jervik. If anybody's going to kind of step up into that Coulter Kramer role, one of those guys will be Mason Jervik. We'll see him a lot on both sides of the ball here tonight. Just a couple minutes past 8 o'clock, prime time kick as Trevor Caldwell tees it up. He walks back, and we are ready to go here for the first game at the brand new football complex at Ole Williamson Field. Caldwell approaches, he boots it, and we are underway on a Friday night. Rain-soaked as it's taken and across the 35, and now twirled down across the 36 is Sean Deckert, and Parkston will start with some decent field position. They're going to mark him down at the 37-yard line on Parkston's side. We'll see which hash they want to start the ball on. Currently looking like they're going to put it on the Trojans' left hash. And our first quarterback tonight will be Gage Reichert. They're going to line up with Reichert now moving back in that setback position. Bruning under center. Bruning's going to turn, hand this one off. It's Jervik who's got a little bit of a lane. He's crossed midfield, and he's finally chased down and twirled down as the tackle was made by Case Colda all the way and already into Stanley County territory are the Trojans. Ball at the Stanley County 40, right smack dab in the middle of the field. And a good start for the Trojans as they ran the end around to the near side out of that double wing set. Bruning will go back under center. Jervik in motion. They're going to hand it off to him. Same exact play, same exact hole. This time he's chopped down by Paxton Deal after a modest 4-yard gain here on the near side. Deal coming up from his cornerback/safety position to make that play. Max Foth has been so pleased with Paxton Deal's transformation over the summer. Really pleased with the turnout that he's seen out of his entire team in the weight room as he's stressed getting bigger, getting more physical, and building up that toughness. Ball on the right hash at the Stanley County 36. Bruning under center again. Double wing set, man in motion to his left. They're going to hand it off to the set back, and up the middle goes Gage Reichert. He's going to get enough for the first down across the 30 down to the Stanley County 29. First drive of the ball game. Rain slowly continuing to fall here at Ole Williamson Field. New balls are being rotated in seemingly after every play. Matt Graves said his quarterback decision is really kind of a game day decision and can change throughout the game itself. They started with Bruning. We haven't seen a pass play yet. 3 straight runs. They're in the double wing again. It's a toss to the left side here outside to Jervik. Jervik with blockers gets to the edge, and he's across the first down marker inside the red zone down to about the 18-yard line. They're going to mark him at the 17. It'll be another first down for the Trojans, and they're getting a little rhythm going here on this double wing set. Foth hopes that they can kind of shut down this double wing look, force Parkston to go into that pro-style offense. But, of course, if it's working, Parkston's not going to try to change it. It's one thing Matt Grave told us in his coach's call this week. Back to the double wing they go. They're going to hand this one off. This time it's Gage Jadozzi, the big man, who's carrying tacklers across the 10, inside the 10, and he takes all 6'3", 220 pounds. Close to another first down. He's going to be about 3 yards, maybe 2.5 yards short. Trojans going with some tempo here. Bruning back under center. Ball in the left hash. Jadozzi in motion. They give it to him again. He's got a lane. He bounces off tacklers, dives forward towards the goal line. Somebody lost their helmet. But Jadozzi's going to get down inside the 5, down to the 2. It's already a blistering start, but compared to what Hill City's offense did last week in terms of tempo, well, this is kind of just a cup of coffee. Hill City was going blazing fast, lightning fast, might I say, on this stormy night. Double wing again. They haven't gotten out of it. Jadozzi in motion. Why not give it to him again? Up the middle, and he is in for the touchdown, and the Trojans are on the board forced here with 9:44 to play in the first quarter. They lead 6-0. Nearly a flawless drive there from the Parkston Trojans. Gage Jadozzi is the man who punches it in. He took the last couple carries, and he punches it in on a 2-yard run. And they're going to line up in the double wing to go for 2. No kicking here for the Parkston Trojans. They want to make it 8-0. Play action fake. Rolling out to his right is Bruning. Looking back in the other direction. He fires towards the back line of the end zone, and that is caught. It's Jackson Leischner. And the 2-point conversion is successful, so Stanley County finds themselves behind here. We'll take a quick 30-second break. Our timeouts are sponsored by Integra. We'll tell you what they have to say after this.
Your hometown shop specializing in tires to fit vehicles, from ATVs to large farm equipment and everything in between. At your tire store next door, you can find a plethora of brand name tires that range from 4 to 10 ply and much more. Our highly skilled technicians can handle brakes, heating, and air conditioning. Call us today at 224-8643 or visit us at GrahamTire.com. Graham Tire is a proud sponsor of Pierre and surrounding communities' local activities.
In here in the first quarter early, 9:44 to play. It was a successful drive as they ran out of the double wing for the entirety of that drive, and it was Gage Jadozzi with a 2-yard touchdown, and then Bryson Bruning Found Jackson Leischner in the back of the end zone for the 2-point conversion. So now Landon Bame alongside Brendan Bothwell will do the returning on this kick. Kicking here tonight for the Trojans will be Quaden Colbert. This kid does it all at 6'3", 185. He plays tight end, defensive line. And much like Trevor Caldwell, a jack of all trades, doing the kicking here for the Trojans. Colbert is set. And he boots it away. It's going to go and find the way to Brendan Bothwell, who returns it from the 11. Coming back here near side. He's broken free. He's across the 30, trying to get to the near sideline. He's across the 40, across the 45, twirling and taken down by Mason Jervik, but not before he gets a yard shy of the 50-yard line. And a great return from Brendan Bothwell has set up the Buffaloes in golden territory, as they will start with great position. Not only was it a great return from Bothwell, but great blocking from his special teams unit to help spring him free there. Using that speed. Quick play here for Weston Prince. Out of the pistol, dumps it off to Landon Bame to the right side, out of the backfield. Bame is quickly wrapped up and dropped. It was Gage Jadozzi making the tackle. Stanley County going to continue with that no-huddle offense. They've got the wristbands down there, so Max Foth can fire in a play. If they don't like the look, they can switch out of it in an instant. Ryder Roseland stands to the left of Weston Prince, and the handoff to Bame is bobbled and dropped, but regained by Bame, but not before he is dropped well behind the line. And that rain causing some issues for Stanley County.
Bame with the carry.
Prince turned around, tried to hand it to Bame, who was going off to his left, and it got right in the wickets there, but then just kind of squirted out of the hands of Landon Bame. So now, just like that, it's 3rd and 20. Not many plays in the playbook for this down and distance. Weston Prince will empty out the backfield. 3 receivers off to his right, 1 to his left. Nearly a false start. Prince looking to throw, pump fakes, fires to Deal. It's caught by Deal at the Parkston 47. He'll be ruled out of bounds right there. And now decision time for Max Foth as Weston Prince got rocked back there. A big hit by Wyatt Anderson, who came up the middle on the blitz, but a nice job of Paxton Deal staying with it, and the Buffaloes are going to go on 4th and 6. Prince alone in the backfield, and they got him to jump offside, and now it's going to make it a much more manageable 4th down. He'll still be about a half-yard short, but a hard count by Weston Prince gets the offside. We'll see if we can track down that looked like Trey Boddicker that jumped offside for the Trojans. So now to bring up 4th and a short 1. Prince in the shotgun. He's got 2 men standing off to his right, 1 in the slot. That's Landon Bame. Prince takes the snap, going to try to do it himself. Running to the right side, looking for the edge. He can't get there. A flag is thrown, but he's dropped behind the line of scrimmage. It'll be a 1-yard loss. We'll check the penalty in the area of holding. Either way, it's going to be a turnover for the Buffaloes. Unless this would go against the Trojans, the conversation between our officials, and they're going to say holding on the offense. And Parkston will decline the penalty, so a fumbled handoff turned into a 10-yard loss for the Buffaloes. They picked up a lot of that yardage and then some on a pass up the near sideline to Paxton Deal. An offside penalty made it 4th and 1 for the Buffaloes, but they couldn't convert. And now the defense comes back out on the field. Not really the start that Max Foth was hoping for. From either side of the football, Parkston will get back to work. At their own 43-yard line, they'll start on the left hash out of the double wing. Bruning under center, hands to Jervik, he bobbles it, and what a play by Bryson Bruning, as the Buffaloes are not the only ones dealing with a wet football out there. He tried to hand it to Jervik on the little end-around handoff behind him. Hit off the knee of Jervik, but Bruning, with presence of mind to stay with it, somehow corralled it and kept it away from the Buffaloes. But it'll bring up 2nd down and 22. More like 2nd down and 23. Ball at their own 35 here. Herman Fennell and Max Coach having a long conversation with our near side official. Parkston in the huddle. And now breaking out. One of the only times you'll see these 2 offenses in a huddle. Jervik in motion again. It's a toss here coming near side. Flag is thrown. Jervik trying to get to the edge across the 40. Breaks 1 tackle, and he's taken down at the 49.
Jervik with the carry.
But we'll check the flag again in the area of holding So that'll be the first penalty against the Parkston Trojans. Now both teams have one. The signal is holding. Stanley County will happily take it. It was second and long, and now it's going to bring up second and even longer as they walk back to 10 yards. Parkston will now be snapping from their own 25.5-yard line. So that'll bring up second down and 27. And maybe we might see Parkston air it out for the first time. They're still in the double wing set, Bruning under center. Takes the snap, turns, hands it off, breaking one tackle, now breaking a second is Gage Reichert, and he's finally dragged down after a big gain there. Nice tackle made for Stanley County. It was Whit Myers who recorded the takedown, but it'll bring up a third down and long. It'll be interesting to see what kind of play call that Matt Grave wants to go with here. You try to heave something, pick up all the yardage, or get into a fourth and manageable. Ball at the Parkston 37. Third and 15. Play action fake. Screen to the left side, and it's dropped out of the backfield, intended there for Gage Reichert. But as the rain continues to fall, he couldn't handle the pass, and now this would be a very, very risky fourth down and 15 if they were to go for it. It's hard to tell when the special teams unit is out there on the field because both offense and defense and special teams is comprised of a lot of the same players for Parkston. Looks like Rico Mullenberg is back set to punt. Floating snap. Rolling out to his right, rugby kick is away. Brendan Bothwell will watch that one bounce at the 30 as it rolls towards him at the 15 and will come to rest at the Stanley County 14. So aided by a couple of wet ball fumbles and drops by the Parkston Trojans, Stanley County gets the stop they need. They trail 8-0 with 6:41 to go. We'll keep it right here as the offense makes their way out onto the field. Paxton Deal and Brendan Bothwell will line up to the right side of Weston Prince. Pistol look with an offset fullback to the right of Prince. Ball on the left hash. Prince takes the snap, fakes the toss to the right side, gets a couple yards, and then is twirled down just past the line of scrimmage. It'll be a modest gain of 1. We'll bring up second down and 9. Stanley County starting this drive at their own 14-yard line. Prince will empty out the backfield. He's got a tight end to his left, takes the snap, looks downfield, has time, throws it high over his intended receiver, Paxton Deal. And that one floated out of his hand a little bit. Good job by the offensive line, creating a clean pocket. Well, that'll bring up third down, 9 yards to go. Buffalo's looking down at their play band. Landon Bame in the backfield. Ryder Roseland set up to the right of Prince. Prince takes the snap, play action fake. They run a screen of their own, this time a wide receiver screen, but with the wet ball and the pressure in his face, Weston Prince couldn't get enough juice on it to get it out to Paxton Deal and to bring up 4th and 9 in the punting unit out for Stanley County. Well, it's a stark difference from what we saw in the first quarter last week. Gosh, by this point in the first quarter, we had about 30 total points scored in the ball game. It's 8-0. Parkston leads here with 6:07 remaining in the first quarter. And Stanley County with another punt. Their first drive ended in a turnover on downs. Deal with the gloves, catches it, and boots a beautiful spiral that sends Rico Mullenberg back to his own 47. He'll field it there, gets away from one tackler, and then is ripped down on the near sideline. Tegan Breitag in on the tackle for the Buffaloes, but good starting field position here for the Trojans as they try to make this a 2-score ball game. Not going to be easy to throw the ball around here tonight, especially with no let-up in sight from this rain. I'll tell you what, the turf field paying off already in week number 1. Bryson Bruning makes his way back to the Trojan huddle, gets in the huddle, calls out the play. They turn and head up to the line of scrimmage. One thing I remember Parkston doing last year that they do this year is they line up their huddle about 15 yards behind the line of scrimmage. They don't want any of those secrets getting out. Back to the two-wing set. Jadozi in motion. They're going to hand to the up back, and it is going to be Gage Reichert on the carry. Good play there by the linebacking core. As Brendan Bothwell and company come up to make the tackle. Nice tackle made there by a couple of Buffaloes. Case Colda also getting in on the action. It's a gain of 2, 2nd down and 8 here for the Trojans. Ball shading towards the left hash. Man in motion. They're going to give it up the middle to Johnny Weber, and he is met right at the line of scrimmage, and a huge hit laid down by Case Colda, and he's fired up about it. It'll be a loss of 2. And they're back at the original line of scrimmage. 3rd and 10 coming up here for the Trojans. And maybe a little bit of butterflies for the Buffaloes there on that first drive. I mean, looking up and seeing a packed-out crowd in the stands, even with the downpour ensuing. But it seems like they're starting to pick up these motions and these misdirections better than they did on their first drive. They're going to move a man way out to the left. No wing to the left side here for Bruning. He takes the snap, rolls out to his right, fires quickly. He's got his man. It's Mullenberg. He's got the catch. Ripped down on the tackle by Case Colda. But he's still going to be short of the first down. It'll bring up 4th and a long 2. And almost certainly Parkston making their way into Stanley County territory. He's going to go for this one. Ball on the right hash. They marked him down right at the 30-yard line. They've got to get to the 32 of Stanley County, the 27 of Stanley County to pick up the first down. Bryson Bruning commanding the huddle for the Trojans. Stanley County waiting patiently. Trojans make their way up to the line under 4 minutes to play here in the first quarter. Trojans leading 8-0. Double wing set. Man in motion back behind Bruning. It's Mullenberg who exits the backfield, lines up as the left receiver. They're going to give this one off up the middle to Gage Reichert. He's going to be close. Stanley County thinks they stopped him, as does Max Foth and Herman Fennel, the coaching staff. Trojans think otherwise. We're going to have to see the measurement here. From up here, it looks like he was stopped short. Officials looking down the line. They might need to bring the chains out and make this official. And they're going to say that Stanley County stopped them. It's a turnover on downs.
Trojans turnover on downs. It'll be 1st and 10 Buffalo.
Great play up front by the Stanley County defensive line. They tried to give it off to Gage Reichert up the middle, and the Buffaloes were waiting. They read it perfectly, and now Stanley County has got to stop on defense on 4th down. See if this offers a little bit of momentum to this Buffalo offense. Prince in the shotgun all by himself. 2 receivers either side. Takes the snap, looks left, fires quickly. Looking for Bothwell. Paxton Deal went up, got one hand on it. It bopped up into the air, was almost intercepted. 2 Stanley County receivers in the area. We've seen a lot of deep passes tonight. Max Foth and that offense haven't really gone after these cornerbacks who are playing pretty far off. A lot of cushion shown by Mullenberg. Mason Jervik, the free safety, he's got about 10 yards of cushion on Bothwell in the slot. Prince takes the snap, fires quickly, passes behind Bothwell. It's going to be called a catch and an interception. That one reeled in by Rico Mullenberg. It was off the hands of Brendan Bothwell on the slant route. And off the deflection, Mullenberg was in the right place at the right time. Brendan Bothwell is pleading his case. He almost certainly thought that hit the turf. But the call will stand, and it's going to be 1st and 10 Trojans from the Stanley County 35. Tell you what, Stanley County got the short end of the stick on a lot of bounces last week, and that continues here tonight. A bit of an unlucky play for the Buffaloes. The ball was behind Bothwell, but he got 2 hands on it, just went right through. And Mullenberg kind of put his hands out and found himself a prize with the interception. So another turnover, this time via interception. Bruning back under center, going to fire over the middle. Got a man wide open. It's caught at the 20. Carrying tacklers across the 10 down to the 6 is Trey Boddicker. And it's 1st and goal coming up here for the Trojans. It was Boddicker running a seam route up the middle. And Bryson Bruning was there to fire a dart.
It's complete. The bottom curve.
Nice throw there by Bryson Bruning. And now the Trojans are knocking on the door. They're going to mark him down at the Stanley County 7, but nonetheless, danger territory here for the Buffalo defense. 3:10 and counting here in the first quarter. Trojans out in front, 8-0, looking to add to their lead. Double wing set, still haven't gone with anything else. Muhlenberg in motion. He carries the ball to the left side, dances his way through the line. And we've got a whistle. They're going to mark him down at the 1. And we've got a timeout by the officials. Of course, our timeouts are sponsored by AgTegra. Acres Ahead can maximize your farm's earning potential straight from the start. Contact your local AgTegra cooperative today. There's a bit of an early whistle. Wasn't sure what that was. The sign judge marked Muhlenberg down at the 1, but now they've moved the ball back to the Stanley County 4. So it'll be 2nd and goal from the 4. Stanley County will take the help. Ball is placed at the middle of the field and between the two hashes. Trojans trot up to the line. Bruning sends a man in motion. We've got a flag and a delay of game or a false start. One of the two. They're going to say false start. Both the clocks in the end zone, the new play clocks that have been an addition here for the Buffaloes, read double zeros, but they say there was movement before then. And Stanley County getting a little bit more help from the officials. Again, they'll take it. It'll bring up 2nd and goal now from the 9. And now we got a whistle on the field, and Max Foth wants to take a timeout with 2:30 remaining in the first quarter. We'll take it with him. We'll be back in 30 seconds after this short break on KGFX. Timeout sponsored by AgTegra. We'll tell you what they have to say after this.
Agriculture is like no other business, which makes Farm Credit Services of America like no other lender. Owned by the farmers and ranchers we serve, our customers have a voice in how we work, a stake in what we do, and share in our success. Discover a lender that works for you at Farm Credit Services of America.
Ready to gain an edge in your...
Back here at Ole Williamson Field, AgTegra wants you to remember that Acres Ahead can maximize your farm's earning potential straight from the start. Contact your local AgTegra cooperative today. The first of 3 timeouts exhausted for Stanley County. 2:30 remaining in the first quarter. Trojans lead 8-0. It'll be 2nd and goal from the 9-yard line for the Trojans. Now, not even the impending weather, which we knew was coming, was going to stop the Buff Nation tailgate from going on without a hitch. A lot of burgers and brats served earlier today. Here's a quick handoff to the up back. It's going to be Gage Reichert. Muscles his way inside the 5 and down to the 2. It'll bring up 3rd down and goal. Trojans quickly up to the line, know exactly what they want to do. Bruning under center. Jervik in motion. They hand it to the up back Reichert. He breaks a couple tackles, stood up at the goal line, and he's going to be driven back. A nice stop by the Buffaloes, and it'll bring up 4th and goal from the 1 again.
Carry again by Reichert.
So now the Trojans will go with the huddle. Under 2 minutes to play here in the first quarter. Would be a huge stop for Stanley County. Trying to keep this a 1-possession game. Whole host of Stanley County tacklers in on that last play. We'll see if they can come up with one more. 4th and goal from the 1. Bruning under center. Reichert stands 4 yards behind him. Jervik in motion. They hand to Reichert. He is stuffed at the line, and Stanley County's got the stop. What a play up front. Case Calder was the first one there, and it's a turnover on downs, and Stanley County embodying bend but don't break with 90 seconds remaining in the first quarter keeps it a 1-score game.
Trojans turn the ball over. 1st and 10.
Looks like Stanley County knew exactly what was coming from Parkston. And after that first drive, Stanley County's done an outstanding job getting this double wing set taken care of whichever way they go. Trojans have tried to run it either way all night. And after that first drive that ended up with a touchdown and a 2-point conversion, Stanley County's defense has dug their heels in. They'll start from the shadow of their own goal line. Offset pistol, Weston Prince looking left, looking right, making sure he and Landon Boehm along with Ryder Roseland are on the same page. It'll be a false start as Case Colda got going early. I don't even think they've got room to move it back the length of a football. So close to the goal line that the Trojans' helmets are probably hanging over said goal line. So it'll bring up first down and 10 plus about a foot. Prince takes the snap, looking to throw quickly, dumps it out of the backfield. He's got Landon Boehm. Boehm dropped the ball, and it's going to roll out of the end zone. No signal yet. There's a fight for the loose football inside the pylon. Still no signal from the referees. It looked like an incomplete pass. Never looked like Landon Boehm had the possession. The Trojans seem to think they've scored a touchdown. They're going to call it a safety. Max Foth can't believe it. Landon Boehm caught that ball about 3 yards deep in his own end zone, was tackled, but the ball was jarred loose. It actually rolled out of bounds and then got kicked back inbounds. I'm not sure if the officials saw it, but Max Foth can't believe it. It's 10-0 Trojans with 1:22 to play in the first quarter. Really weird play. They were trying to hit Boehm on a bubble screen out of the backfield. Prince got it to him, but it was read perfectly by the Trojan defense. Looked like it was Gage Reichert to come up and make the play on the tackle. Maybe it was Quaden Colbert as well. I never thought Boehm had clean possession of that football, but it was a bang-bang play, and the safety will stand. Could be better than the alternative. The Trojans thought they had their second touchdown of the game. But Stanley County will get the ball back. So we've had a touchdown, a 2-point conversion, and a safety here in the first quarter. All by the Trojans. And it'll be a free kick away for the Stanley County Buffaloes after giving up the safety. So barring a turnover, the Trojans are going to have good starting field position yet again. Paxton Deal will do the free kick. He stands at his own 15. Will try to boot it as far as he can. With that rain that's still falling, it's pushing back into the face of Paxton Deal. A wobbly end-over-end kick. Bounces by the first returner. Now falls into the hands of Jervik. Jervik across the 45. Steps out of a tackle at the 50 across the Stanley County 40 where he's ripped down. And that'll be the tackle made there by Bryant Zeb.
Brought down by Zeb. Trojans start first and 10.
So the Parkston Trojans will start at the Stanley County 39. And now this is a dangerous situation for Stanley County, who haven't really had answers for Parkston. Parkston, in time of possession, has eaten up some clock here in the first quarter. They'll switch their quarterback setup. It's now Gage Reichert who will be taking snaps. Standing behind him is Johnny Weber. Jervik in motion from right to left. Toss out to Jervik. He finds a lane, and Jervik's off to the races. Cuts back across the 30. Going to be wrapped up and taken down at the Stanley County 15. It was Whit Myers who chased him down before he was able to scamper into the end zone, but it'll bring up first and 10 from the 15. And the Trojans knocking on the door again. Stanley County's turnovers is really what did them in last week. They were leading by 3 points in the first quarter. A fumble deep in their own territory turned it back over to the Rangers. The Rangers were able to score, regain the lead, and never look back. And we've got a whistle, and Max Foth wants to take his second time out of the first half. We've still got 47 seconds to play here in the first quarter. We'll take the timeout with him, tell you what Agtegra has to say after this.
Titan Machinery's Service Technician Apprenticeship Program is designed for anyone wishing to become a diesel mechanic working on Case IH equipment through full-time, on-the-job training. Enjoy hands-on work experience, learn from factory-trained service experts, and apply your knowledge from school directly to your work with this unique program opportunity. Become a Titan in the industry and grow with a dealership that invests in you at Titan Machinery, Highmore, Miller, and Pierre, your local Case IH dealer. Visit titanmachinery.com/careers to learn more.
Lucky for us, life is full of choices, big and small. They define us, make us who we are. And when it comes time for you to choose, a car, home, your next big adventure, or start a new business. Farmers Union Insurance has the variety of coverage options to protect each perfect moment. Farmers Union Insurance. Contact your local Farmers Union Insurance agent today.
Wind Circle, operating since
Rain-soaked Friday night. Gage Reichert, still the man taking snaps for the Trojans. He's got Johnny Weber behind him. Jervik off to his left. Jadozi in motion from right to left. They're going to fake the handoff, and Reichert's going to take it himself. Stepping out of a couple tackles, hopping his way towards the pylon, and he's in for the touchdown. And the Trojans lead 16-0.
Reichert with the carry.
And Stanley County will fall behind yet again here in the first quarter with 38 seconds to play. Gage Reichert with the second touchdown of the ball game for the Trojans. It'll be a 15-yard scamper. And they will go for two. Try to make it an 18-0 game. If there's any team that benefits from this type of weather, well, it is the Parkston Trojans. They're going to go with the double wing set again. They're going to hand it off up the middle, and running in nearly untouched for the two-point conversion for the Trojans is Joaquin Rodriguez. So it's 18-0 Trojans lead. We'll step away for a quick 30-second break. When we come back, Stanley County will get the ball back, looking to put their first score on the board here at the new stadium.
We combine quality customer service and experience with the right technology to meet your needs. Our cybersecurity certified technicians will make sure your systems are secure. Services offered are video and data cabling, service and support contracts, cutting-edge camera systems to door security devices. WindCircle has many hardware options: Dell, HP, Cisco, SonicWall, and Ruckus, to name a few. Our staff has over 30 years of combined network design and cabling experience at your disposal. Call us today, 605-224-1111, and request a free quote. Again, that's 605-224-1111.
In a world that's
Stanley County's fallen behind 18-0 here, but still plenty of football left to play. After we had about an hour delay to get this thing underway, rain still falling from left to right on your radio dial. Stanley County going to be attacking from right to left going into that Rin.
Back deep to receive the kickoff.
Bothwell alongside Landon Bames standing at the 10. Kicking off here for the Trojans. Again will be Quaden Colbert. He runs up, front-footed kick, going to scoot right by Bame and Bothwell, and will take some rain assist into the end zone, and it'll be a touchback. Really one of the only highlights thus far here tonight on special teams and offense for Stanley County was Brendan Bothwell's great return up to the 49. Other than that, they've had a tough time getting things going. This weather really benefits Parkston, who is a run-heavy team when it's working. They don't want to get away from that double-wing set, but Stanley County in their new-look offense loves to air the ball out. They haven't really been able to do that with anything effective here tonight. Prince takes the snap, tries to hand it off, and the blitz came blazing through the offensive line, and it'll be a loss of about 5 yards on 1st and 10. Make it 2nd down and 15. Too many white jerseys in there to pick one to make the tackle.
Holder with the carry.
Case Colda was the ball carrier there. Gage Jadozi was one of the many Parkston Trojans who got the signal to blitz. See if Stanley County wants to run a play here in the final 13 seconds. They don't have to. And they're standing around. They want to talk this 2nd and 15 over when we come back for the second quarter. One is in the books. 18-0 Trojans lead. Buffs on the move trying to answer. We'll be back in 60 seconds with the start of the second quarter as they flip the field here at Ole Williamson. We'll be back after this short break on KGFX and streaming on drgnews.com.
Your journey matters. And at Iverson Auto Group, we're here to get you on the road with a great selection of new and used vehicles and trailers, and keep you on the road with top-notch service, maintenance, and support. Every mile of your journey, the experienced team at Iverson Auto in Mitchell and Huron are here to help. Visit us in Mitchell and Huron or start your search at iversonauto.com to begin your journey today.
When you're thinking of a new or used car, motorcycle, pickup, or RV, think of us. We make all sorts of vehicle loans. We can set you up with payments that fit your budget. So if you have getting some new wheels in mind, stop by and see us. We'll get you the right loan. Dakota Plains Federal Credit Union. Federally insured by NCUA. We're big on you.
We're small enough to know your name, but we're big on you.
And while we appreciate the recognition, we don't really plan to celebrate. We'll just keep doing what we do best. Serve customers buying or refinancing homes. Support farmers in their long-term plans. Finance the growth of area businesses. And help our South Dakota communities thrive. If you want to experience best-in-state service, call or visit with the First Dakota Banker today. First Dakota National Bank, member FDIC.
Start of the second quarter here from Ole Williamson Field. Prince will start with a quick toss out to the right side for Brendan Bothwell. He makes one man miss, scoots underneath a tackle, and gets towards the 20-yard line. He'll get that loss of yardage on the tackle behind the line of scrimmage on first down back. It'll bring up third down and a long 9. Stanley County trailing here 18-0 in the start of the second quarter. Justin Cowart with Haley Hansen back in the studio. Hope she's staying dry here on this rainy night as it continues to fall. Prince alone in the backfield, 2 receivers, now 3 receivers to his left. He bobbles a snap and has to dive on top of it. And that should be the end of this Stanley County drive as the punting unit heads out. Stanley County not able to get in any sort of rhythm here. It was a great stop on their most previous offensive drive. They held the Parkston Trojans down at the 1 on 2 consecutive plays, but on the ensuing play, it was a catch fumble that rolled out of bounds for the Buffaloes as Deal boots this one away. Waiting for it is Jervik. It bounces. He fields it at his own 40. Trying to cross the 50 as a defender is tackled, and a flag will come in. Jervik up the far sideline. He's going to get run out of bounds at about the 8-yard line, but this one's going to come way back as Gage Reichert tackled Brendan Bothwell on the return. Tegan Breitag made the tackle down way on the other end of the field. But as clear as day, Brendan Bothwell was taken down by Gage Reichert, and this one will come back. I think everybody here on the home side bleachers saw that one.
Holding against the Trojans.
So the Trojans will turn a good return into some lesser field position. They'll start just north of their own 40. And now they're going to place it on the right hash right at the 40.
Trojans will start 1st and 10 at their 40.
Certainly not an insurmountable lead to come back from. 10:38 to play in the second quarter. Plenty of football left, but Stanley County relying a lot on their defense to keep this one close. Their defense has done just about all they can. They haven't really been graced with great starting situations. Back to the double wing go the Trojans. Man in motion. Bruning back at quarterback. Hands it off to the up back. Fighting his way forward. Close to the 45. That carry was taken there by Joaquin Rodriguez, it looks like.
Rodriguez
it was actually
brought down by Myers and others.
It was actually Wyatt Anderson on the carry there. I fooled our PA announcer. No, it is Rodriguez. Rain blocking everything out. Rodriguez, the lone setback. Man in motion. They give it to Rodriguez again. He's wrapped up and taken down on the tackle. Tegan Breitag. It'll bring up 3rd and short.
Rodriguez with the carry, brought down by Breitag.
They're going to mark him down at the Trojan 47.5. They got to get to the 50 to pick up the first down. We're also getting a look out there on the edge for Stanley County. Jace Hand has checked into the game. Landon Bain playing the near side edge. They bring a man in motion. They're going to hand it off, coming near side, cutting it back up the middle, and across the first down marker is Sean Deckert. Deckert will push it into Stanley County territory. They mark him down at the Stanley County 47.
1st and 10 Trojans at the Stanley County 47.
So they move the chains yet again. Clock ticking away here in the second quarter. Stanley County with some hands on hips. A lot of guys playing both ways, but so do the Parkston Trojans. It's always easier when you're pushing on guys, pushing them downhill. Man in motion, Dropping back to passes, Bruning got a man deep, heaves it, looking up into the rain is his man Mason Jervik, but just out of reach. It falls harmlessly incomplete on the turf. That'll bring up second down and 10. A good ball from Bruning probably leads to 6. Mason Jervik had a couple steps there on Paxton Deal in that Buffalo secondary. It's been a tough start here for Stanley County, but a stop would surely mean a lot to this offense. Not only the defense, but the offense. Stanley County with only 1 timeout remaining. Parkston with all 3. Parkston has had no reason to get away from this double wing offense. As Deckert comes in motion, they hand it off to him. Bame just barely misses 1 tackle. Flag comes flying in towards the middle of the line of scrimmage. As Deckert takes it deeper into Stanley County territory, but we'll check the laundry on the field. Parkston's making their way back into their own territory, so they believe this is on them. It's in the area of holding, and that's what will be the call. Not getting the benefit of picking up a number. Might have been holding against Landon Bame. As Tegan Breitag will come off for a breather. He was keeled over, both hands on both knees. Coy Ludeman will check into the game in his position. Stark size difference between Tegan Breitag, who stands 6'4", and Coy Ludeman, who stands 5'10". It's about a 60-pound weight difference between the two. Play action fake. Bruning get a throw. He fumbles the ball and a big hit. Who's going to get on top of it? A dog pile ensues. Landon Bame came off the edge untouched with his hair on fire, and he laid a big shot on Bryson Bruning. Still fighting for the football. No signal yet. Finally getting some clarity here. And they're going to say the ball stays with the Parkston Trojans, but a great job by Landon Bame coming off the blind side there of Bryson Bruning, delivering a huge hit. Bruning was cocked back to pass. That ball was hanging loose. It was the contact that jarred it loose. I'm sure some of the rain facilitated that as well, but it brings up 3rd and a mile. 37 to be official. Nice job there by Landon Bame. Not sure if that was a botched protection or what, but Landon Bame just seeing red, saw the back numbers of Bryson Bruning, put his face mask right in the nameplate, jarred the ball loose, and now we see our first pro-style formation. Bruning under center, Reichert behind him, 2 receivers to his left. They hand to Reichert. He runs right into the back of one of his own offensive linemen, now pops it out to the right side, and he'll be tackled by Paxton Deal along with Case Kolda. Modest gain. Maybe picked up 5. Got out to the Parkston 34. They've got to get to the Stanley County 37 to pick up the first down. But that was 3rd down. They finally changed the card, so a punt coming here for the Trojans. That's the stop they needed. That was facilitated by the big hit of Landon Bame. Rico Mullenberg back to punt. Boots it away, waiting for it is Bothwell. Bounces one. A big splash of water comes free as it lands at the 35 and comes to a stop at the 30. And that's where Stanley County will start. Stanley County trailing 18-0 here with 6:53 to play in the first half. Buffaloes will get the ball to start the second half. They'd love to put a long drive together, get some of those guys on defense, some much-needed rest. Carry a little bit of momentum into our our CHS River Plains halftime show. 1st and 10, Prince in the pistol with Roseland off to his right. Takes the snap, cuts away from a tackler, and is brought down back at the line of scrimmage. No gain. It'll bring up 2nd down and 10.
Prince with the carry.
Jackson Leichner in on the tackle there for the Trojans. Prince gets his offense back to the line quickly. Same formation, 2 receivers to the right. It's Deal and Bothwell. Hard count didn't work this time around. They'll look down to the wristband, get a new play. Cole is set up as the tight end on the right side. Trojans show blitz momentarily, and we've got a false start. Looks like Tegan Breitag got going a bit too early.
Flag on the play, false start against the Buffalo.
Add another penalty. That'll be the second penalty of the game for Stanley County. Both teams with 2. So instead of 2nd and 10, it'll be 2nd and 15. Prince takes the snap, fakes the handoff, looks, fires it deep, looking for Bothwell up the near sideline, just running out of room as it careens off his fingertips. Bryson Bruning in the coverage there. Good throw by Weston Prince, but the pass led a little bit too far out of bounds for Brendan Bothwell, and that'll bring up 3rd down and long. Buffalo's set up at their own 25-yard line. Got to get to the 40 for the first down. Although it's raining continuously and steadily, Weston Prince looks like he's getting a bit better handle on that football. A couple soft passes that slipped out of his hand early in the first quarter. Prince moving guys around. Paxton Deal will set up as the lone receiver to the left. Kolda is the tight end on the left side. 3 receivers off to Prince's right. Pump fakes, fires deep, does Prince, looking for Paxton Deal. He drops to the ground, makes the catch at the 45 as flags come flying in. What a play from Paxton Deal as he was working on Rico Molenberg. Molenberg never got his head turned around, essentially tackled Paxton Deal as he caught the ball. But nonetheless, would have been a first down either way, but credit Paxton Deal with the great focus, staring up into those raindrops that were coming in through the face mask. Great throw by Prince, great catch by Deal. And it'll be a first down for the Buffaloes.
Pass interference against the Trojans is declined.
Max Foth will decline the pass interference, and they're back to the line, ready to go. Maybe a little bit of momentum building here for the Stanley County Buffaloes, who just picked up a 15-yard gain. Well, more like a 25-yard gain, but the down and distance was 15. Quick pass out to the near side for Brendan Bothwell. He's wrapped up and tackled. Bryson Bruning in on the play, as was Mason Jervik. Modest gain, they give him 1. 2nd down and 9 from the Stanley County 46. Ball on the right hash, Prince alone in the backfield. 3 receivers split off to his left, 1 to his right. Paxton Deal running an underneath route. They're going to look for him, and he had Bame and Paxton Deal running a crossing route. They almost ran into each other, and both of them kind of looked back at each other as the ball flew in between them. But more pressure in the face of Weston Prince forced him to get it out quickly. It'll bring up 3rd down and long. Matt Grave just wanted steady improvement on fundamentals from his team. I'd say they've done a good job of that so far tonight. Stanley County trying to clean up the turnover issue from a week ago. 3rd and 9, Prince takes the snap, wants to pass, fires it far side, and it's through the hands of Paxton Deal. And that'll fall incomplete. Now Max Foth with his first true decision of the night, but he calls for the punt team to come out. And with 5:22 remaining in the first half, Stanley County trailing 18-0 will give it back to the Trojans. Visible frustration on the Buffalo sideline after that dropped pass. Paxton Deal will stand back to punt. Pressure coming, he gets it away. Twirling, spiraling kick is fielded but bobbled for the moment and is covered back up there. Almost another turnover via wet ball for Sean Deckard. Give Case Kolda the credit on the cover. He sped up the mental clock there for Deckard, but he gets back on top of it.
26-yard line.
And the Trojans will start at their own 26. They go back to Bryson Bruning as the quarterback. We've only seen Gage Reichert take snaps for only a few plays. They go back to the double wing. We've only seen them out of that formation once tonight. Jervik in motion. They give it to him on the sweep. Trying to chase him down now. Cutting back up towards the middle and taken down. A nice play there by Whit Myers, who forced the ball back inside and then wrapped up Mason Jervik. And it'll be a loss of nearly 5, so a good start to this drive for the Stanley County Buffaloes. Under 5 to play in the second quarter. Stick around for the CHS River Plains halftime show. We'll look at scores from around the league. As you know, the Governors won't be starting for another half hour across the bridge. Bruning takes the snap, hands it off to Reichert. He's wrapped up immediately and taken down by a host of purple jerseys. And initially on the tackle was Ezra Rutherford. He came flying through. Whit Myers was also there alongside Case Kolda. So now 3rd down and long. 1 timeout remaining for Stanley County here in the first half. Parkston's got all 3. Bruning goes back under center, brings Jadozi in motion. Play action fake, dropping back to pass, trying to set up a screen, but it's over the head of Gage Reichert. More good play over there on the far side by Whit Myers as he was right there to force a high pass. And with 3:59 to play, Stanley County looks to get the ball back. Brendan Bothwell will inch further and further away from his 50 as he waits to receive the Rico Molenberg punt. Quick start for the Trojans, but the Buffaloes have weathered the storm as Molenberg sends a short punt high into the night sky. Paxton Deal calling Oski, everybody get away from it as it rolls out of bounds on the the Parkston side of the 50. And they'll mark it out at the 43-yard line of the Trojans, and Stanley County with their best starting field position of the night. Couple quick words of wisdom for Paxton Deal from Max Foth as he heads into the huddle. Again, Stanley County will receive the second half kickoff. If they can score here to end the first half, something to build on for Max Foth and this coaching staff. Prince will line up as the lone man in the backfield. Takes the snap, pressure in his face, and he can do nothing but hold on for dear life as he's ripped down. Sack completed there.
Prince brought down in the backfield by number 52.
Gage Jadozi in with a couple other Trojans on the tackle. That'll be a big loss of 9 yards. Well, they mark him back one further. It'll be 2nd down and 20. Just like that, Stanley County back on their own side. Max Foth with his audible play call in. They go back to the offset pistol. Bothwell and Deal to the far side. Ball at the Stanley County 47. Prince takes the snap, hands it off. It's Boehm trying to cut to the outside here on the near sideline. He's going to be wrapped up and dropped by 3 Trojans. Jadozi and Reichert.
Brought down by Reichert and Jadozi.
He'll get 5 back. Now
brings up 3rd down.
Bring up 3rd down and long. Under 3 minutes to play here in the first half. Max Foth pacing the Stanley County sideline as clock continues to wind. We haven't seen that night sky light up, so the lightning should be out of the area. Of course, it hasn't rained like this all summer long until the Stanley County Buffaloes decided to play their first game here, and Max Foth lets it run down to 2:23 and takes his final time out of the first half. We'll step away for 30 seconds after this Agtegra timeout on KGFX.
Online loan application. You can go to our website and apply for a loan when it's most convenient for you. We make getting loan approval fast and easy. Our local lenders are available to assist you if you have any questions. We make it pain-free to get that loan you've been wanting. We're an equal housing lender. Oahe Federal Credit Union. Your hometown credit union since 1955. Federally insured by NCUA.
Do you have a new pair of jeans?
2:23 remaining here in the first half. 18-0 Trojan lead as Stanley County exhausts their final timeout of the first half. They're set up at their own 49 with a 3rd down and 17 upcoming. Justin Cowart coming to you live from Ole Williamson Field. CHS River Plains halftime show coming up after the end of the second quarter. We'll take a look around the league at some other scores tonight. Also recap this first half for you. 2 touchdowns and a safety have gotten the Trojans to 18. No scoring yet for the Buffaloes. Looking to change that here, but they got to pick up a 3rd and 17. Offset pistol look through the hands of Prince. He turns around, fields it, trying to escape, and he's ripped down and dropped at his own 35. Tackle made by Jackson Leischner. And Parkston will use their first of 3 timeouts to stop the clock with 2:10. We'll keep it right here to remind you, this Agtegra timeout, they want you to know Acres Ahead can maximize your farm's earning potential straight from the start. Contact your local Agtegra cooperative today. An early score on the first drive for the Trojans. It was a Gage Jadozzi 2-yard touchdown run. Jackson Leischner caught the 2-point conversion to make it 8-0. Gage Reichert would scamper in for 15 yards for the second Trojan score. The Stanley County Buffaloes would get a stop at their own 1-yard line on 4th down and goal, but it set them up deep in their own end zone. A bubble screen to the left side for Landon Boehm would turn into a safety. And now the punt team is on here on 4th down and long for the Buffaloes as Deal calls for the snap. Boots one through the rain. It's going to land at the 37-yard line of Parkston and come to rest at the 32. So with 2:02 remaining in the first half, we may see our first spread offense of the night out of Parkston as they look to try to extend this lead before heading to the locker room. A lot of brave folks staying here put in the weather. They stayed put. We were worried this game might not get underway until past the 9 o'clock hour. There was even talks of cancellation, postponement. And Parkston said, we want to play tonight. We'll get home at 3 a.m. if we have to. They did not want to make the trip back. We weren't sure if that would result in a no contest, a forfeit, whatever may have come of it, but looks like we're not going to find that out tonight. They go back to the double wing. It's Bruning who will take the snap here for the Trojans. Stanley County trying to get to the locker room down 18. They're going to run a misdirection to Mason Jervik. He cuts and breaks loose. Across the 50 goes Jerzik. Last man of defense is Brendan Bothwell. A stiff arm and a push out of bounds at the Stanley County 20 will end that long run, but it picked up a ton of yards, and it puts the Trojans inside the red zone with 1:49 remaining. One of the first misdirection plays we've seen out of this Trojan offense. We've only seen it a handful of times thus far here tonight, but it pays off big as just like that, the ball's down to the 18 where the officials mark it. Trojans will break the huddle. Bruning under center with the double wing look. Turns and hands, and it's going to be carried up the middle, but immediately met by Stanley County tacklers is Johnny Weber. He continued to fight hard, picked up a little bit of positive yardage, may have gotten back to the line of scrimmage. Down for the moment was Whit Myers, but he's back up, adjusting his shoulder pads. They're going to give him a half a yard, and now Whit Myers goes down to his backside, and we're going to have an injury timeout, it looks like, for Stanley County. So we'll take it with him. We'll be back in 30 seconds while they tend to Whit Myers. 18-0 Trojans lead with 1:24 to play in the first half.
A favorite shirt with a small tear or hole? Or your winter coat has a broken zipper? Don't throw them away. Call Lila Briggs Sewing and Embroidery in Fort Pierre to have your items fixed as good as new. They also provide hemming, other sewing services, as well as custom embroidery for a truly professional look and design. Lila Briggs Sewing and Embroidery is a proud supporter of all Stanley County school activities and wishes the student athletes the best of luck in the school year.
Fentanyl is a powerful.
Next in for Whit Myers after the injury break. Mason Jervik with a carry off the right side. Gets a couple of yards. Picks up about 5. Ryder Roseland checked in for Myers, who is favoring his left shoulder as the Avera medical staff takes a look at him. It'll bring up 3rd down and about 6 to go. Under 60 seconds to play here in this second quarter. Parkston in no sort of hurry. They've still got 2 timeouts. In the grand scheme of this game, it feels like Stanley County needs a stop here. They're going to hand this one off to Jervik. Jervik around the edge, gets the first down, and he's spun out of bounds. And it'll be 1st and goal as they stop the clock at the 6-yard line. Ryder Roseland was the one to make the tackle for the Buffaloes, who checked in for Whit Myers only a play ago, and now he's down. So Ryder Roseland got to his feet and then immediately went back down. He almost collapsed after taking 2 steps. He is moving around down there, just kind of twirling around as the Avera medical team has got their hands full here. Roseland went down on that far sideline at about the 7-yard line. Tate Gabriel and the Avera staff is helping him to his feet, and he's favoring that left leg. As you know, Roseland is a big part of the Stanley County offense too. So we can only hope that Whit Myers and Ryder Roseland are okay. We see Myers here on the near side sideline for Stanley County, up and moving around. He doesn't have his helmet with him. But a slow pace off the field for Roseland as he makes his way towards the sideline. This gives Stanley County an extra opportunity to try to get their wits about him. 39 seconds to play. It'll be 1st and goal from the 7-yard line for the Trojans. And as they're out of the huddle and ready to go before Roseland even makes it to the sideline. Rain continuing to drive here at Ole Williamson Field. New quarterback is Gage Reichert for the Trojans. Takes the snap, bobbles it, and now we got a flag on the field. They're going to get the Trojans for a false start, so that'll knock them back 5 yards. Still be 1st and goal, but now from the 12-yard line. Nothing easy in this type of weather, especially on a very handoff-heavy offense like the Trojans run. But they've done a good job protecting the football thus far tonight. Ball in the right hash for the Trojans. And just as quickly as Reichert was in at quarterback, Bryson Bruning is back. They bring Jadozi in motion. It's a play action. Looking to pass. Pump fake. Fires towards the back of the end zone. It's caught by Mason Jervik, and with 35 seconds to play in the first half, the Trojans have extended their lead to 24.
Caught by Jervik for a touchdown for the Trojans.
24-0 on our Wegner Auto scoreboard. As Mason Jervik will tally the 12-yard touchdown pass. It's the first passing touchdown of the night for Bryson Bruning. And they'll go for 2 points to try to make it a 26-0 ball game. Offset double wing. Reichert set up as the offset guy to the right. They're going to roll out to the right side. They're going to fire looking for Gage Jadozi, but it's just above his reach. So the 2-point conversion will be no good. But we'll take a quick 30-second Actegra timeout. 24-0 Trojans lead with 35 seconds to play in the second quarter.
To 100 times stronger than morphine. Even a tiny amount can be deadly. It's often mixed with other drugs without your knowledge, increasing your risk of overdose. Protect yourself and your loved ones and avoid unknown substances. Stay informed, stay safe, and remember, one pill can kill. For more information on fentanyl prevention, visit your local health resource or speak to a healthcare professional today. This message was brought to you by the Great Plains Tribal Opioid Response, so that the people may live.
35 seconds to play here in the second quarter after a Mason Jervik 12-yard touchdown reception. They could not convert the 2-point conversion, but they extend the lead to 24. As Stanley County will have to go into the halftime break, trying to figure some things out on both sides of the football. Certainly gives you an idea of how good Marion Freeman Academy is this season. They held Parkston to just 6 points last week. Stanley County student section trying to get their guys fired up as the kick is sent away. It's going to be caught on the run and now dropped by Bothwell. He fields it at the 20, and now will just have to slide down at his own 18 to avoid further damage.
With the return.
If I was a betting man with 30 seconds to go, trailing 24-0, Stanley County might just put a knee down and head to the locker room for the halftime break. They do get the ball to start the second half. We'll talk about it in the CHS River Plains halftime show. We'll also take a peek around the league at some other scores tonight. Max Foth was supremely confident about his team's performance in the first half last week, was hoping that would carry over to tonight. That 72-32 score last week, a little bit misleading. They're not lining up in the victory formation. No, they're going to try to maybe one or two plays and see if they can break something loose. In the shotgun is Prince, dropping back to pass, pump fake, looking deep, steps up in the pocket and fires. Looking for Paxton Deal, and it's almost picked off by Mason Jervik. That one was heaved into double coverage. Jervik along with Bruning were in the area, and Paxton Deal turned receiver into DB on that play, broke up a sure interception.
Brings up second down for the Buffaloes.
Only 7 seconds winded off the clock there. It'll bring up second down and 10 from the 18 of the Buffaloes. Whip Myers, good to see him back in the game. He has now assumed the position of Ryder Roseland off to the right side of Weston Prince. Landon Bain back behind Prince. Option play to the left side. Toss behind Landon Bain, and the ball is free on the turf. But luckily, Landon Bain was there to get on top of it, it looks like. And almost another turnover in back-to-back plays for the Buffaloes. And they might want to consider themselves lucky here as the clock will run down and will strike all zeros. That brings us to the end of the first half. Our Wegner Auto scoreboard reads Trojans 24, Buffaloes nothing. We'll be back with the CHS River Plains halftime show to look at some scores around the league, recap the first half, and get you ready for the third quarter here on KGFX and streaming on drgnews.com.
2023 Lincoln Navigator at Capital City Ford in Lincoln. Every time you approach your Lincoln, you'll receive a recarpet welcome. Twin turbocharged 3.5 V6 engine with auto start stop technology. You'll travel confidently with technology that meets all your needs. Now you can get the 2023 Navigator for 5.9% at 72 months. Stop in to see the full vehicle lineup at Capital City Ford in Lincoln. Capital City Ford in Pierce, South Dakota.
For over 70 years, Pitt's Design Build has earned our reputation locally for serving communities across South Dakota. We provide design and building services for schools, hospitals, churches, commercial offices, multifamily housing, and so much more. Pitt's Design Build is conveniently located in Pierre, Mitchell, and Sioux Falls to serve you and your organization. We bring value to our clients by facilitating the design and/or construction process. Give us a call today and check us out at pittsdesignbuild.com for a free building consultation.
This is what matters. This is beyond X's and O's. This is the difference mutual respect makes. This is what character looks like. This is what defines us in South Dakota. This is sportsmanship. School sports, it's not the outcome that matters most, but the way the games are played. This message presented by the South Dakota High School Activities Association and the South Dakota Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
We connect people. Have been for 100 years or so. How we get that done? Well, that won't always be the same. But why we connect people? Not in a million years is that ever going to change. We didn't build the communities that made South Dakota. No. We just brought them together.
Your equipment is working overtime in the summer heat, but can your parts keep up? At Grossenberg, we're rolling out our August filter sale so you can stock up and keep your machines running smooth. Now, through the end of the month, save 16% on John Deere and Fleet Guard filters to help your machines finish the season strong. Partner up with us and stop by your nearest location or visit grossenberg.com to take advantage of this deal while it lasts.
CoreCares helps individuals stay at home by offering caregiving, nursing, and medical alert systems in over 55 communities in South Dakota. Specializing in tasks like bathing, meal prep, and medication setups, our well-trained staff delivers exceptional care. We invest in our team through customized training and comprehensive benefits. To learn more about job opportunities or services, visit our website at corecares.com. CoreCares, proudly serving our community.
Service Master of Pierre.
CHS River Plains halftime show. Trojans leading 24-0 after the first two quarters of play. Justin Cowart welcoming you back into the broadcast booth on a rainy Friday night here at Fort Pierre. As we take a look around the league, some scores have gone final. Sully Buttes with a 50-point victory earlier this evening. As they won 57-7, I believe, final score. Still not updated, but I did get message that it was a 50-point victory as they took down Burke. Oldham Ramona Rutland beat Sunshine Bible Academy 46-8. Del Rapids St. Mary with a blackout of Irene Wakanda 52-0. Avon putting it on Sioux Falls Lutheran 62-20. Platte Geddes with a blank of Cologne 52-0. Harrod Selby area with a blank of Northwestern 42-0. Good one going between Ipswich and Faulkton area. Under 1 minute to play there. Faulkton area with the ball trailing by 4, 34-30. Kadoka area leading Lyman late in the ball game 18-14. Scotland Minnow leading Corsica Stickney, and now that one has gone final 44-30. Canastota, leading Coleman Egan 20-12 from 9A. Hill City beat Lemon McIntosh 43-6.
Thank you, John, for everything.
Howard leading and has beaten Esteline Hendricks 58-8. Ipswich, as we mentioned, is still under 1 minute to play. They're leading Faulkton area 34-30. As we hop up to 9AA, Hamlin beat Hanson 29-23. Britton Hecla over Leola Frederick area 36-6. Hill City, as we mentioned, beat Lemon McIntosh 43-6. Gregory looks like they're going to get the win over Trip Delmont Armor. 45-0 is the lead at the end of the first half. And, of course, here on our Wegner Autos scoreboard, 24-0 Parkston leading Stanley County. Up to the 11 football, St. Thomas More beat Mount Vernon Plankinton 29-8. Miller Highmore Herald beat Hot Springs in a low-scoring battle 13-10. You heard that one on KPLO. Flander beat Baltic 20-12. McCook Central Montrose over Webster area 42-8. Mobridge Pollock leading Groton area 29-8 with 6 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. Chamberlain leading Aberdeen Roncalli 27-0. Wagner leading Winter late in the ball game 34-20. Looks like they'll get the win there. And of course, as we mentioned, the Pierre Governors will be getting their game underway here in a couple moments. You can hear that one on River 92.7 after this one wraps up here on KGFX. Yankton beat Huron 41-24. T-Area over Spearfish 22-14 as that one's gone final. Sturgis leading Brookings 26-14. Mitchell blanked Douglas 57-0. And Sioux Falls Jefferson going to get the win over Watertown, leading 51-7 with 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Up to 11 AAA. Sioux Falls Lincoln over Rapid City Stevens 62-14. That one went final. Good one between O'Gorman and Harrisburg. O'Gorman gets the win 25-24. Brandon Valley leading Sioux Falls Washington at the end of 3, 21-7. And Rapid City Central over Sioux Falls Roosevelt 23-0 as they get the second half underway. About 8 minutes to go here until the second half at Ole Williamson Field. 24-0 Trojans lead. 3 touchdowns by the Trojans and a safety. Gage Giadozi got the scoring going for the Trojans with a 2-yard touchdown run. Gage Reichert would follow that up with a 15-yard touchdown scamper. And the most recent score for the Trojans was a Mason Jervik 12-yard touchdown catch. They also recorded a safety. Stanley County got a stop on fourth and goal for the Trojans at their own 1-yard line. They would get the ball back deep in their own territory with basically all of their offense standing in the end zone. They tried to run a bubble screen to Landon Bame off to the left side. It was completed, then dropped, and then booted out of play, which set up the safety. That gets us to our 24-0 score. Only a few big plays thus far for Stanley County, one of which came on their second-to-last drive when Paxton Deal caught one out of the air in the midst of being interfered with. He made a great catch, but Stanley County just hasn't been able to put the blocks together and create a scoring drive just yet. They will get the ball to start the second half. We'll talk a little game plan with you when we come back after this short break. We'll be back in 3 minutes here on KGFX with more from the CHS River Plains Halftime Show.
Two service experts for a wide variety of cleaning needs. Since 2003, we have developed the most effective methods and products to service virtually every type of industry. We're known for our exceptional carpet and upholstery cleaning, but did you know we also offer cleaning of all types of flooring, along with providing fire and water restoration, commercial cleaning, janitorial services, and construction cleanup. Service Master of Pierre is a proud sponsor of TF Riggs Governors and Lady Govs, as well as Stanley County Buffaloes and Lady Buffs activities.
Being local means more than being just another small-town business. It means showing up for our member owners when they need us. supporting the organizations that empower the next generation of community leaders and agriculturalists, and providing resources to help ensure the communities we live in are here for generations to come. At AgTegra Cooperative, local isn't just about where our locations are. It's about serving our farmers, our employees, and our communities in ways that nobody else will.
That moment when you realize your furnace is stone cold busted. We're talking a real put on every sweater you own, I can't feel my feet, penguin predicament. But fear not, there's an expert for that.
Let your local heating experts at Pites Service Experts keep you warm with $50 off any furnace repair.
Like it toasty? There's an expert for that.
Call Pites Service Experts at 866-EXPERTS. See website for license details.
Now's your chance for a great deal on smoking fast fiber internet from Venture Communications. Upgrade to the speed you need, up to 1 gig. And with whole home Wi-Fi included as part of your service, experience no-lag gaming, your favorite music, web surfing, HD video streaming, and connect to the latest smart devices. If you're ready for an upgrade, call or visit Venture Communications online.
When the world feels big, a small note can mean everything. Find mental health support at sdbehavioralhealth.gov.
John Hoffman Electric is your neighborhood electrical service contractor, and so much more. No job is too big or too small for our team of professionals. We pride ourselves on keeping up with new technologies, such as Aerial, an augmented reality visual tool used to customize and experience a finished space before breaking ground. So whether you're building new or renovating a home, farm, or commercial space, let John Hoffman Electric light the way. John Hoffman is a proud sponsor of all local activities broadcast on Live Ticket TV.
Being a part of a community means sharing the history and future of the people all around you. For 115 years, First Fidelity Bank has been doing just that, helping you get the most out of life by providing the services and tools you need, the conveniences and technology you want, and the friendly faces you expect. So you get everything you need right here in the place you call home. Now and for many years to come. First Fidelity Bank.
Allied Plumbing and Heating is your contact for business, farm, commercial, and residential plumbing needs located in Pierre. No job is too big or small for Allied. Put our over 50 years of experience to work for you. At Allied Plumbing and Heating, the only surprise we want for our customers is how fast they get the job done. That's why we offer free estimates on every single service, no hidden charges. Give them a call today at Allied Plumbing and Heating. Remember, you can rely on your allies.
Do you have a pest?
Trojans lead, about 3 minutes to go until we get this second half underway. It's a tough first half for the Buffaloes. Their defense did dig in nicely. They weren't able to stop a couple quick drives, especially at the start of the ball game, put on by the Parkston Trojans, who've been running mainly out of their double wing offense, which we knew we would see. Talking to Matt Grave this week, he told me, he said, we won't go to that pro-style pass pro offense unless we absolutely have to, and well, they simply haven't had to here in this first half. We'll see if the Stanley County defense can speed them up a little bit, make them get uncomfortable. We've seen a pretty heavy dose of Bryson Bruning as the Trojan quarterback. Gage Reichert has checked in here and there, but he's been the main one running this offense. On the Stanley County offensive side of things, it's been the Trojans who have been getting a lot of pressure and speeding up the mental clock of Weston Prince, who's had to try to make a couple quick throws, and he's completed a few, but it's been a much faster paced night for Weston Prince than I think he hoped for. Kind of set the scene for you a little bit, if you're just joining us, a steady rain has been falling ever since about an hour prior to kickoff. We were unsure when they would get this one going. There was still lightning seemingly in the area, but moved out far enough and afforded the Stanley County Buffaloes the opportunity to come out and warm up. And we got this game underway right around 8 o'clock. But it's been very wet, been very hard to control the football. We've seen a lot of bobbled passes, dropped passes, bobbled handoffs, fumbles, you name it, we've seen it. And it's been tough going and tough sledding for the Buffaloes. But they get this ball to start the second half. And if Max Foth is one pretty good thing that he does is make halftime adjustments. He's hopefully made some here in the CHS River Plains halftime break. Big thanks to CHS River Plains for sponsoring our halftime show. If you missed those scores at half, don't worry. We'll go through them again at the Family Dental of Pierre and Gettysburg postgame show. Stanley County huddled up, trying to get some hype going there in that huddle. Max Foth pacing up and down the sidelines. There was a different confidence about this team coming into this week, and I think Max Foth would be the first to say, you know what, we just didn't play our best ball in the first half. We'll see if they've ironed those wrinkles out in the halftime break, as we are about 30 seconds or so away from kickoff. Our timeouts are sponsored by AgTega. Remind you that acres ahead can maximize your farm's earning potential straight from the start. Contact your local AgTegra cooperative today. Reading you scores off our Wegner Auto scoreboard. We saw a great start from Stanley County last week against Hill City. They took advantage of some soft coverage that the Rangers decided to show. Not so much soft coverage by the Parkston Trojans. They go with 4 down linemen, and they really get in your kitchen quickly. Max Foth told me this week he felt like they had an offensive scheme to try to beat that, but of course, you've got to take the weather into account. And if there's one thing that favors the Parkston Trojans, it's their style of play. A lot of ground and pound, not much airing out of the football. A lot of handoffs and a lot of running for the Trojans as Stanley County makes their way out to receive the second half kick. It'll be Brendan Bothwell. Landon Bain back to return. As we are set to go here to start the third quarter. Trojans leading 24-0. Stanley County trying to get their first score here in their brand new football complex. As they're looking up here at the press box, making sure the clock is ready to go. We've got 12 minutes. As Quaden Colbert steps back, waiting patiently, now ready to kick, trots forward, forward on kick, headed right for Landon Bain, catches him in the chest plate, coming here near side, across the 25, and it'll be run out of bounds at the 30. A flag flies in, a late hit, but no flag on that play. It's in the area of holding, and now a conversation with our head official in Case Colda taking place. Might be a block in the back now, that's the signal, and that is the call. So Stanley County will have to start deeper than they had hoped for to kick off this second half. Saw the Stanley County defense with hands on knees there towards the end of the first half. They were certainly getting tired out by the continuous offensive push by the Trojans. The penalty will push the Buffaloes back to their own 15. That's where Weston Prince will start. Good news for the Buffaloes. Ryder Roseland is back in the ballgame. He went down with an apparent left leg injury in the second quarter. Prince takes the snap, bobbles it, and it bounces right to Landon Bain, who fields it on the run. Didn't plan it that way, but it sure looked like they did. Landon Bain with his head up, picks up a couple positive yards. It'll be a gain of about 3.5. And it'll bring up second down and a long 7. Now the ball went right through the hands of Weston Prince. Luckily for him, the handoff was going to the right. That's the way the ball careened. It'll take the positive yardage. They almost get an offside call there, but Jadozzi was able to jump back. Audible coming in from Max Foth from that Buffalo sideline. They go down to the wristbands. They've got the play. Prince takes the snap. He's got time to throw. Fires it near side, and it's underthrown for Brendan Bothwell, and he and Weston Prince just weren't on the same page there. Bryson Bruning was in the area, dove for the interception, but was unable to complete it. Kind of goes back to something I talked to Max Foth about earlier on in the season. He said Weston Prince, Brendan Bothwell, and Paxton Deal, they can all communicate via hand signal if they want to. I said, does that scare you knowing that maybe those wires get crossed every now and then? And they said, I just trust those guys to make sure they're on the same page. 3rd and 7 coming. It's going to be 3rd and 12 as we've got another false start here by the Buffaloes.
Flag on the play, false start against the Buffaloes.
That'll be the 4th penalty, the second of this second half, and we're only less than a minute in. 47 seconds to be exact. So they back up, ball inside the 20, and it's over the head of Prince. It's going to roll into the back of the end zone, and we might have our second safety of the ball game. And Weston Prince couldn't get on top of it. It was recovered by the Trojans, and it'll be a touchdown recovered by Johnny Weber, and things go from bad to worse here for the Stanley County Buffaloes. Shades of the second half from last week. Unforced errors for the Buffaloes turn into a Trojan touchdown. It's 30-0 with 11:06 remaining in the second half. Excuse me, in the third quarter as we start the second half. But Trojans will look to make this a 32-point ball game as another gift is taken advantage of. Bryson Bruning out to try to convert the 2-point conversion. Double wing set again for the Trojans. Bruning sends a man in motion. They're going to hand it off to him. This time it's Sean Deckard whose number's called, using his speed to get to the edge towards the far side pylon, and he outruns Case Colda, Brendan Bothwell, and he's in for the 2-point conversion. It's 32-0 Trojans.
Your score, the Trojans 32, the Buffaloes 0.
So Stanley County falls behind even further after the 3rd down snap goes over the head of Weston Prince. He did his best to hop back on top of the football, but there was a cavalry coming for the Trojans. And a lot of contact and a wet football turns into a touchdown for Parkston. And now Stanley County really fighting an uphill battle. Well, Max Voth and his coaching staff knew this was going to be a tough test against a Parkston Trojan team. But I think anytime you play a team without Coulter Kramer, whoever you are, you feel like, well, you've got a better opportunity. Coulter Kramer did so much for this Parkston Trojan team, and that was what Matt Grave talked about. He said he's looking for guys to step up and fill those shoes. He knew it was not going to be one single guy who could do it. Kramer just did so much for that team the last 2 years in their 2 trips to the Dome, one ending in a state championship. So now, without a minute gone in the second half, Trojans score another touchdown, and well, it's deja vu for Quaden Colbert, who kicks it away again. This one headed Brendan Bothwell's direction, catches it with his hands over his head, coming here near side across the 20, looking for the edge. Now cuts it back towards the middle of the field, a little bit of daylight, but quickly shut out by Johnny Weber, who makes the tackle at the 31. And Stanley County will try to start to chip away.
10 at their 31-yard line.
The Buffaloes will host Leola Frederick area next week right here. They had to 86 the ribbon cutting ceremony tonight because of the rain, so they'll do it next week. Prince will start in the shotgun. He's got 3 receivers lined up to his right, Paxton Deal to his left. Takes the snap, he's got time, heaves one high for Paxton Deal, who's lost the gloves, and that one slips right through his hands. Was going to be a tough tightrope job if Paxton Deal was going to make the catch to keep his feet in bounds.
Brings up 2nd and 10 for the Buffaloes.
But that Parkston Trojan defensive line creating all sorts of issues for Weston Prince as he's essentially catching and having to get rid of the ball immediately. Rarely in 9-man you'll see 4-down linemen. They run kind of a 4-1, almost nickel-style defense. Prince alone again sends Colda in motion from left to right. Adjusting the chin straps, now takes the snap. He's going to decide to run it, and he runs right into the chest of the Trojan defensive line. And that'll bring up 3rd down and 10. No gain for Prince.
That doesn't help me.
Now another 3rd and long situation for the Buffaloes who feel like they've been in 3rd and longs all evening. Trayson Weatherford made the tackle there for the Trojans. He is the transfer from ACDC. Guy that says He has been a quiet leader, lead by example as Weatherford. As Prince takes the third down snap, fires it out to Landon Bame, who's met immediately on the edge. A nice tackle made by Sean Deckert. It'll be a loss of about 2 yards. And now the punting unit coming out onto the field for the Buffaloes. So yet another 3 and out for Stanley County, who just can't seem to get in any sort of rhythm. It's good coverage downfield married by a great defensive pass rush for the Trojans. As Paxton Deals standing on his own 17, high snap, fielded cleanly, high twirling punt. Lands and takes a Trojan bounce back towards the 50, will finally be touched at the Parkston 48. And the Trojans will start with more good field position.
Trojans take over 1st and 10.
32-0 Trojans lead, 9:23 to play here in the third quarter. Things headed south for Stanley County quickly. It's the first defensive touchdown on a fumble recovery in the end zone on Stanley County's first drive. It was Johnny Weber who got it, and now a little bit of miscommunication and misdirection turns into a 2-yard gain there for the Trojans. Nice carry there by Sean Deckert.
Deckert with the carry,
As
brought down by
the Trojan quarterback
Short gain
was spinning all sorts of directions, finally got the handoff to Deckert. Gets it to the left hash of the 50. We'll bring up 2nd down and 8. Bryson Bruning getting the plays from Matt Graves and that offensive staff over on the far sideline. Out of the huddle, back to the double wing. Jervik in motion from left to right. They hand it off up the middle, fighting for some positive yardage. And taken down inside Stanley County territory is Gage Reichert.
Reichert with the carry, brought down by
it'll be a gain of about 6. And that'll bring up 3rd down and 4. I'll make it a gain of 4. Either way, another big 3rd down coming for the Stanley County defense. Bruning goes under center. Weber in motion, handoff to Weber. He is chopped down right at the line of scrimmage. Tackle made there by Tegan Breitag. Also in there was Whit Myers.
And Myers.
That'll bring up 4th down and about 4 to go, and decision time again for Matt Grave in this offense. They lead by 32, but they're inside Stanley County territory, and with a Buffalo offense that really hasn't been able to get much going, why not go for it? Ball rests on the Stanley County 46, smack dab in the middle of the field. Offense still on the field for the Trojans, 4th down and 4. Double wing set, Jervik in motion. Play action fake, looking to pass, firing deep, got a man open, and it's just out of the reach of Sean Deckert, and it'll be a turnover on downs. Deckert was able to get behind the defense, but Bruning wasn't able to put it on him. And a little bit of daylight here for the Stanley County Buffaloes, and maybe a little bit of life. Kind of in no man's land there for the Trojans. You might as well go for it. Your only other positional opportunity was to punt, try to pin Stanley County deep, but you feel pretty confident with your defensive play so far if you're Parkston. Offset pistol, Prince barking out commands, takes the snap, turns and hands it off to Bame, who is met immediately in the backfield and is dropped for a 2-yard loss. Quaden Colbert in on the tackle.
Carry brought down by Colbert.
That'll bring up 2nd down and 12.
For the Buffaloes.
For the first time tonight, the rain is starting to let up. Starting just to a light drizzle. As Prince hands it off to Landon Bame, who tries to get to the outside on the right side, and he'll be dropped for another loss, and Stanley County going backwards will have another 3rd down and long upcoming. So Stanley County going to need another big 3rd down play if they want to try to keep this drive alive and avoid another 3 and out. Paxton Deal and Bothwell will line up to the left side. Paxton on the outside, Bothwell in the slot. Prince, play action fake, pressure in his face, fires near side for Paxton Deal. Popcorns around, finally secures it across the 50, breaking 2 tackles is Paxton Deal, and he's run out of bounds at the Parkston 41, and it's a Stanley County first down. Max Foth telling his guys to get up to the line with pace. Don't let Parkston get set. That's something that Stanley County's been looking to do all night long. Get the ball in Paxton Deal's hands and let him make a play. 1st and 10 inside Parkston territory. This time a quick pass to the right side for Bame. He bobbles it and is met with supreme force on the outside. Mason Jervik coming down from the safety position meets Landon Bame at the point of where he caught it. Takes him down, loss of 1.
Brought down by Jervik.
Bame hobbling around. That was a big shot supplied by Mason Jervik. Ryder Roseland will empty out of the backfield, line up inside Bothwell, outside Bame on the left side. Prince alone in the backfield, fires quickly to the left, out of reach for Landon Bame. Right in his shadow was Sean Deckert. Bame had been able to catch that. He would have had to break a sure tackle from Deckert. And it'll bring up another 3rd and long, but for Stanley County, they've gotten into Parkston territory. And if you're Max Foth, you might think about trying to just pick up some positive yardage, make a more manageable 4th down play. Ball in the right hash at the Parkston 42, 3rd down and 11. Stanley County dying to get in the end zone and give these fans something to cheer about. Prince back to pass, got time, fires deep into double coverage. It's bobbled around and picked off. Picked off on the deflection by Mason Jervik. He's got a head of steam up the far sidelines and runs out of bounds at midfield. And it's another Stanley County turnover, another turnover facilitated by Mason Jervik, and another drive comes to end for the Buffaloes.
To the Parkston 49-yard line, Trojans take over 1st and 10.
One thing that Max Foth wanted to avoid and try to clean up this week was the ill-advised turnovers. Parkston surely felt that that was a pass play upcoming. They had everybody deep. Ball bobbled around. Mason Jervik was in the right place at the right time, and now Parkston will start inside the shadow of the 50-yard line. It's Bruning as quarterback. He'll hand it off to the setback. That's Gage Reichert, who's met immediately, falls across the 50 into Stanley County territory, but they'll mark him down.
Reichert
still in Trojan territory.
Bame and Breitag.
Landon Bame and Tegan Breitag in on the tackle for the Buffaloes. 2nd down and 9 upcoming. 5 minutes to play here in the 3rd quarter. If Stanley County wants any thought of a comeback, it feels like they have got to get a stop here and score quickly. Bruning sends a man in motion. It's Weber. Fakes the toss, hands it on the misdirection. This time Deckert trying to get to the edge, trying to outpace Brendan Bothwell. A shoestring tackle along the sidelines for Brendan Bothwell. It'll be about 2 yards short of the 1st down yard to gain marker. But they get inside Stanley County territory, and if they don't get it here, you got to bet they're going for it on 4th down. Ball at the Stanley County 43. Trojans up to the line. Deckert the wingman to the right, and they get Stanley County to jump off sides. And another bugaboo from Max Foth, who is standing ever so lonely down on the far end of the Stanley County sideline. He mentioned a couple things. It was fumbles, it was interceptions, and it was penalties. And another Stanley County penalty will give the Trojans the free 1st down. It'll be 1st and 10 from the 38. As the drive continues for the Trojans. Weber in motion. He gets the handoff from left to right, breaking through tackles. Ball is loose on the turf. Who's got it? Stanley County says they do. We'll wait for the signal.
Weber with the
Still
carry.
no sign yet.
Holdo with the tackle.
Every Buffalo thinks that they recovered, but they're going to say that the Trojans fell back on top of it. There was about 3 purple jerseys in the area. And another thing that Max Foth said, we didn't get the bounces last week, and, well, they haven't shown up yet here this week. Another fortuitous bounce for the Trojans. as that will be a positive gain when all is said and done. They get it up to the Stanley County 35, 2nd and 7 upcoming. Bruning goes under center. Deckard in motion, handoff to the up man. And he is taken down after maybe a 1-yard gain, and a late flag comes flying in near the pile.
Rodriguez with the carry.
Joaquin Rodriguez, the running back there.
There is a flag on the play.
And they're going to say it's holding against Parkston. So Stanley County will happily take that. 4th penalty of the ball game for the Trojans. So that'll back them up, but now the biggest enemy for the Buffaloes becomes that clock with 3:42 remaining, trailing 32-0. You're running out of time to mount a comeback. They do move the ball back to the Stanley County 45, so that'll bring up 2nd down and 18. Jadozzi, the setback, the 2 wingman. It'll be handed off to the right side. Running near side is Maxon Bax, one of his first carries of the ball game. He slaps the ball after he's tackled.
Brought down by Deal.
Paxton Deal coming from that corner position to make the tackle. Jackson Leischner will head to the Parkston sideline. Mason Jervik checking back into the ball game. Maxon Bax will check out. Jervik getting a well-deserved breather after that interception and return that got the Trojans back out to midfield. 3rd and 15. Bruning dropping back to pass, looking downfield. Got plenty of time, fires one deep over the middle. Undercutting is Bothwell, and he bats it away. And Stanley County gets the stop for now. It'll be 4th and 15. And again, in no man's land are the Trojans. See if Matt Grave decides to punt or tries to throw maybe an arm punt. Offense still out on the field. Gage Reichert, Rico Mullenberg coming back into the ball game for the Trojans. Wouldn't be shocked if they just tried to heave something downfield. At worst, it gets intercepted. Stanley County pins themselves deep, but Mullenberg's going to back up, and it looks like he's going to punt this one away. Brendan Bothwell will back up to his own 10-yard line. Mullenberg thought about faking, but now with the rugby-style kick, boots a beauty. It bounces at the 10 and takes a careening roll forward past the goal line and into the end zone, so it'll be a touchback, and Stanley County will get it back, trailing 32-0. We're going to take a quick 30-second break. We'll be back with the Stanley County Drive after this.
Got bats, ants, termites? Family owned and operated, Olson's Pest Technicians have had over 50 years experience taking care of pest problems in places across South Dakota, Nebraska, and Iowa. Utilizing brilliant methods such as Centricon bait stations for termites and Vicane treatment for bed bugs. There's no pest too tough for Olson's Pest Technicians. If you have pest problems, call 800-KILL-BUGS.
Do you want to join one of the...
As another snap goes through his hands and it sends him back to his own 6-yard line. Looks like he recovered. But another mistake, an error by Stanley County, pins them even deeper in their own territory. Now inside their own 10. It'll bring up 2nd down and about 22 to go. Offset pistol. Prince takes the snap, running the option to the right side, but he didn't have enough time to pitch it away. His 2 Trojans were there to take him down. Gage Jadozzi, first man there, alongside Joaquin Rodriguez to make the tackle. No gain on the play. It'll bring up 3rd and 22.
Down by Jadozzi. Brings up 3rd down for the Buffaloes.
And now it looks like we've got a timeout taken. Max Foth wants it. We'll take it with him. 1:31 to play in the 3rd quarter. Stanley County trailing 32-0 here on KGFX.
established organizations in Fort Pierre? Perhaps you are more interested in protecting the future. Whatever your position, the Fort Pierre Volunteer Fire Department is for you. We are responsible for fire protection in Fort Pierre and Stanley County. Become part of this amazing team by stopping down at the fire hall and discussing enrollment. We are not just limited to adults, as we have a new cadet program for students ages 14 to 18. For more information, click on our banner ad on the homepage. From everyone at the fire hall, go Buffs!
Out here, you learn.
Our timeouts are sponsored by Agtegra. They want you to know that Acres Ahead can maximize your farm's earning potential straight from the start. Contact your local Agtegra cooperative today. Hello, everybody. Justin Cowart welcoming you back into the press booth as Haley Hansen back in the studio, keeping us up on air tonight. 32-0 Trojans with 1:31 to play in the third quarter. Stanley County faced with a 3rd and 22. After a bobbled snap, got behind Weston Prince. All he could do was dive on it. Then an option play was blown up on 2nd down by Gage Jadozi and Joaquin Rodriguez. Not many plays in the playbook for 3rd down and 22 from your own 6-yard line. Caldwell, the center, grips the ball. They're going to go under center, offset I formation. Prince back to pass, pump fakes, now steps back into his own end zone, fires one over the middle of the field through the hands of Paxton Deal. And that'll fall incomplete. It was almost another deflection that turned into an interception for the Trojans. Mason Jervik was almost there to get another easy bounce, but it fell right at his feet, and it's 4th and 22, and the Buffaloes will have to punt. Paxton Deal tried to make that catch just inside the 25. They would have had to get to the 30 for the first down. Deal on to punt. Low, spiraling kick, bounces at the Stanley County 25, rolls across the 30, fielded by Deckard. He's up the sideline, and he's going to walk in for a touchdown. Touchdown Trojans. They've made it 38-0 on the punt return touchdown. That was about a 32-yard return. Deckard got it, had a head of steam, and just never looked back. And Stanley County just left in awe. 38-0 with 1:11 to play in the third quarter. And the Trojans are going to try for the 2-point conversion. It was a 52-16 loss last time around for the Stanley County Buffaloes. And if the Trojans can convert here, they'd be 10 points away from run ruling, which I don't think anybody except for that Parkston team had in mind. Reichert will take the snap, looking to fire left-handed over to the far side. Gage Jadozi ran a little flat route along the goal line, caught it and turned and had nothing but purple turf in front of him, and it's 40-0 Trojans. So we'll step off and step back here in about 30 seconds with the ensuing kickoff. Trojans lead 40-0 on KGFX.
To keep growing, you have to keep changing. CHS and the farmers and ranchers we serve know all about change, because together we've changed agriculture. That's why we're the largest farmer-owned cooperative in the country. So farmers own the system they count on, with advantages at every step. From innovative tools that help crops grow, to grain processing expertise, to energy solutions, we create connections to empower agriculture. Learn more at chsinc.com.
Gage Jadozi, Gage Reichert, Mason Jervik, and now Sean Deckert have scored for the Parkston Trojans. Deckert just ran in a 32-yard punt return for a touchdown. He fielded it running forward, used all his momentum to just scurry up the far sideline, and nobody could touch him. As Deckard has got some good speed, Stanley County will send back Landon Bame and Brendan Bothwell to catch the kickoff. It's 40-0 Trojans with 1:11 to play here in the third quarter. Quaden Colbert will do the kicking here for the Trojans, and he's been a busy man tonight. All of those touchdowns assisted by a recovery touchdown in the end zone as this kick finds its way to Brendan Bothwell at the 15th. Trying to traverse the field here, cuts through one man, and he loses the ball. It's still loose on the turf, And we'll see who recovered. Trojans think they've got it. We'll wait for the signal. Bothwell had it in his right arm as he crossed the 30-yard line, was kind of spun down on the tackle. They're still fighting for the ball. And the Trojans coming away with the football out of the pile, and they've got it at the Stanley County 31.
At the Stanley County 31-yard line.
You know, some of these turnovers I think you could likely blame on the wet football with all the rain we've had, but you can't blame all of it on that. I'm sure something Max Foth will point out in film again this week. He felt like they had gotten it figured out after their many turnovers from week 1. But these turnovers continue to assist the Trojans, who lead by 40. And they're at the Stanley County 31. As we creep down towards the end of the third quarter. A lot of frustration here for the Buffaloes. We'll see if they can carry some pride out of here in the fourth quarter. 40-0 on our Wegner Auto scoreboard. We'll be back with the fourth quarter after this 30-second break on KGFX.
Dakota Pro Air is a locally family-owned business that has been taking care of farmers' aerial needs since 2020. With locations in Letcher and Miller, Dakota Pro Air is able to provide service to a large area. Ground conditions too wet, or just don't want those sprayer tracks in your field? Give Dakota Pro Air a call for all your chemical and fertilizer application needs at 605-248-2314.
Providing world-class service with a hometown touch. Venture Communications has been offering phone service since 1952. Today, Venture provides fiber-to-home service for 100% of their customers, which means super fast internet streaming of your favorite games and much more. Visit VentureCom with 2 M's, venturecom.net for more information or to pay your bill online.
Driven by the Office of Highway Safety, 1060 KTFX Pier. Rebroadcasting on K276 GT 103.1 FM for Pier. Put the phone down, focus on driving.
Start of the fourth quarter here. It's a Trojans blowout 40-0 as we flip sides of the field. After a Brendan Bothwell fumbled kick return, the Trojans will start at the Stanley County 31. It'll be a end-around reversal play, handed off to Weber. He's got some room, and he fights towards the 20-yard line, taken down by Paxton Deal, a yard shy of the first down marker.
Weber with the carry, brought down by Deal.
That'll bring up second down and a short 1 yard. Ball on the right hash. He got it up to the 22. You got to give credit to the Stanley County cheer squad. They're staying as exuberant as ever. 2nd and 1. Rooning under center, sends a man in motion, turns, hands it off. It's Maxson backs again, trying to get to the edge, breaks one tackle across the 20-yard line using his speed, tight ropes the sideline, hit with tremendous force as he's knocked out of bounds, but it'll be 1st and goal upcoming for the Trojans.
With the carry. Knocked out of
bounds. He's down reaching at his left leg for the Stanley County Buffaloes is Jace Hand. He'll be sent to the Avera medical table. And back in the ball game is Coy Ludeman. Tell you what, Coy Ludeman, when he gets his opportunity to play, he makes the most of it. He sprints out there, he's ready to go. And he's one of the first ones down into his stance. 1st and goal coming. Ball right at the 10-yard line for the Trojans. Man in motion. They're going to hand it off to Bax. Bax trying to pick and prod his way through tacklers. He's going to be wrapped up and dropped. Tackle made there for Stanley County by Whit Myers along with Joe Malm.
Brought down by Malm.
There's a flag right on the middle of the line of scrimmage at the hash. And that's going to be a penalty against the Parkston Trojans, so they'll walk it back. 5th penalty of the ball game for the Trojans. 5 by my count, either way. Ball back to the Stanley County 19. Bruning sends Weber in motion. They're going to hand it off to Reichert. Reichert going right side, trying to traverse the line of scrimmage. Now cuts it back towards the top. He's met by Case Kolda and will be taken down after a gain of about 6. This will bring up 3rd down.
Brings up 3rd and long for the Trojans.
Ball at the 13-yard line. Far side hash. Coy Ludeman still in the ball game. Tegan Breitag, as it looks like he has been ailing something for the past 2 quarters. Bruning under center. Couple of new faces in for the Trojan offense. They're going to fake the handoff to backs, run the misdirection up the middle, and he'll be stopped right there at the line of scrimmage. No gain. And this will bring up 4th down. We got 3rd down now as we got that sorted out. Thanks to our great camera operator from Live Ticket, Brian Menning, for staying on top of it. They can get a 1st down if they get about halfway inside the 1-yard line. Clock continuing to drain. 8.5 to play here in the ball game. Looking like Stanley County will drop to 0-2. Looks like Parkston might pick up their 1st win of the season. Weber in motion from the wing, and he slips and falls down in the backfield, and now it is 4th down, and now we'll see what Matt Grave wants to do. He's been in a lot of offensive positions tonight, but he hasn't been in a 4th and long inside the 15-yard line yet tonight. Not sure what their kicking game looks like, if they even have one. Rico Mullenberg is checked back into the game. He punts for the Trojans. But Bryson Bruning has gotten a play call, and he heads into the Trojan huddle. They're going to go single wing offense. Weber the lone setback. Bruning dropping back to pass. It's a screen play to Weber off the right side, and he is going to be hit by Whit Myers, and the ball comes flying out of his hands but out of bounds, and it'll be a turnover on downs for Stanley County.
Ball is incomplete.
As with the 40-point lead, the clock continues to drain, but Stanley County gets a stop, another bend but don't break stop for them. West Prince trots his way back out. Going to be a lot of wrinkles to iron out for the Stanley County football team here this week before they take on Leola Frederick next Friday night. 7 o'clock kick. That'll be senior night. We've got a flag down on the field.
Flag on the play.
And then it'll be a false start against Stanley County. Stick around for the Family Dental of Pierre and Gettysburg post-game show. Afterwards, folks, we'll get you some scores from around the state. We'll look ahead to next week. About 6.5 minutes away. Prince under center. Going to hand this one off up the middle. And about a 3-yard gain after the penalty. They get all the yardage back. It'll bring up 2nd down and 10. Landon Bame on the carry hobbles back to the huddle. Kind of a pseudo huddle. Stanley County still running their no huddle offense. 2nd down and 10. Pistol set. Prince with Bame behind him. Going to hand it off to Bame, trying to get here near side. Stanley County attacking from left to right. Bame bouncing off a couple different tacklers, but he's finally wrapped up by Trey Boddicker. Gage Reichert also in on the tackle, takes him down. They'll lose about 3 or 4 yards on that play, and it'll bring up 3rd and long.
Brings up 3rd down for the Buffaloes.
If it's any consolation, the rain is just about quit. Should make for an easy drive home for the Parkston Trojans and for the Stanley County faithful. Prince dropping back to pass. He's got Brendan Bothwell wide open here on the near side. Caught at the 30, taken down at the 31 by Gage Reichert. Botched coverage there by the Trojans, and on 3rd and long, Stanley County picks it up. They get to the 32. And it'll be 1st and 10, under 5 minutes to play here in the 4th quarter. I think if anything, Max Foth would like to put a couple points up on the board here just to carry any semblance of confidence into the weekend. Prince going to turn around, stumbles, but he gets the handoff to Bame, who gets around the edge on the left side, and he fumbles the football yet again. Trojans dive on top of it at the Stanley County 29. It's another turnover, and it's recovered by the Trojans. Right there waiting for it was Javin Niffen. And with 4:20 to play here in the ball game, I think Stanley County has had just about enough. Sloppy night, turnover. Max Foth wants to talk it over with his guys. We'll take the Agtegra timeout with him and be back in 30 seconds.
Stanley County Booster Club welcomes...
Innocence of youth. Is there anything any better? But soon they'll be in high school and facing all the same challenges you faced. How to make friends, how to fit in, how to be cool. We want our children to have everything they'll need to live fulfilling and productive lives. Make sure the kids in your family are among the more than 57,000 participants here in South Dakota who take part in high school sports or activities.
By Max Foth. It's an Agtegra timeout, which gives us plenty of time to remind you that Acres Ahead can maximize your farm's earning potential straight from the start. Contact your local Agtegra cooperative today. 40-0 Trojans lead with 3:30 to play here in the fourth quarter. Justin Cowart welcoming you back into the press box here. We got Haley Hansen back in the DRG Media Group World Headquarters, as Darren Boyle so lovingly refers it to. Would love to be a fly on the wall for Max Foth's message right now as he gets a couple of new faces checked into the ball game here for the final 3:30. And we'll let you know who they are as they make plays. It's a completely new roster except for Jackson Hofteaser, who has started tonight's game at the offensive line position. Now he'll be playing a little D-line here. Couple of new faces in the ball game for the Trojans as well. Backs in motion, turning and handing it off to him is the new quarterback for the Trojans. It's Burke Newble. And backs will lose a couple of yards, make it second down, and a long 11 coming up here.
Backs with the carry.
Trojans going to drop back and get into their huddle, take a little bit more time off of this clock. I've already mentioned it, but we got the Family Dental Appear in Gettysburg post-game show coming up after this. Newble back under center, still running that double wing. We've only seen one play as the snap is bobbled, and it's on the turf. And a big pile of Buffaloes and Trojans converging on it. Looks like Parkston got back on top of it. That'll bring up third down and longer. Ball now at the 32-yard line of Stanley County. And, of course, a lot of these guys who don't get to see a lot of playing time throughout the season getting their opportunity to play a little bit under the Friday night lights, which are also new here at Ole Williamson Field. Newble under center, turns, hands it off to Backs. Max and Backs skipping and hopping his way back to the line of scrimmage. He'll be stopped after a modest 1-yard gain. And that'll bring up fourth down.
Backs with the carry, brought down by Myers. Brings up fourth down for the Trojans.
And I don't think Matt Grave would do this if he had his starters in, but it looks like he might go for it on fourth down, wanting to get really both sides as much experience as possible. Rarely do you get to play at varsity speed as a freshman or a sophomore. Newble back under center, Backs in motion, going to turn to hand it to Backs. Another run by Max and Backs. He breaks one tackle but stumbles down, and the tackle is made there. Nice play for Stanley County's. Looks like Joe Malm was in there on the play.
With the carry. Brought down by Malm.
And it will be another turnover on down. So 90 seconds and counting to go for Stanley County. They'll be able to get a couple more plays in.
30-yard line. Once again, Buff fans, due to all the...
Remind you, our coverage for Stanley County's game against Leola Frederick area next week will start just after 6:30 right here on KGFX. We'll also be streaming that one live on drgnews.com. It'll be the second of 3 home games for Stanley County before they finish their final 4 on the road. After Leola Frederick next week, they'll have Redfield. Stanley County trying to right the ship this week. Bryant Zabe is in at quarterback, takes the snap, hands this one off up the middle and dropping the shoulder is Ezra Rutherford as he carries a tackler across the 40. Ezra Rutherford using his opportunity to shine and makes a nice play, gets the first down. Stanley County back on the move. 35 seconds to play here in the ball game. Zabe moving some men around, got two receivers to his right, takes the snap, hands it off. It's Rutherford again as he is across the 45, tackled there by Maxon Bax. He gets dropped at the 46.5. And time for one final play here for Stanley County as there's 10 seconds left. One final Trojan trying to get off the field. A little bit of confusion there for the Trojan defense as Zabe takes the snap, bobbles it, and he's got a Trojan right in his face, and, well, only fitting for the Trojans as it's ripped away, and that'll be the end of the ball game. So Stanley County falls 40-0 here in their first game at the brand new football complex. We'll take a quick 3-minute break. When we come back, we'll recap it for you. We'll look ahead around some scores from the state. We'll look ahead to next week against Leola Frederick area. We'll be back after this short break for the Family Dental of Pierre and Gettysburg postgame show on KGFX and streaming on drgnews.com.
The team is rooted in South Dakota. Committed to local success. Just like you. We're all connected. In South Dakota. For South Dakota. Convenient, connected, committed. Bank West.
Dakota Pro Air is a locally family-owned business that has been taking care of farmers' aerial needs since 2020. With locations in Letcher and Miller, Dakota Pro Air is able to provide service to a large area. Ground conditions too wet or just don't want those sprayer tracks in your field? Give Dakota Pro Air a call for all your chemical and fertilizer application needs at 605-248-2314.
When life gets hard and our thoughts get too much to bear, finding the resiliency within us can help us find healing. The 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline provides 24/7 free support for anyone in suicidal distress or emotional crisis. All texts and calls are anonymous and connect you to local resources that uphold cultural values and pave the way to healing. Find the strength within you. Find the strength within our culture. Reach out if you need help today.
Explore the 2023 Lincoln Navigator at Capital City Ford in Lincoln. Every time you approach your Lincoln, you'll receive a recarpet welcome. Twin turbocharged 3.5 V6 engine with auto start stop technology. You'll travel confidently with technology that meets all your needs. Now you can get the 2023 Navigator for 5.9% at 72 months. Stop in to see the full vehicle lineup at Capital City Ford in Lincoln. Capital City Ford in Pierce, South Dakota.
What if we said a bank isn't a place to lock up money? It's a place to set it free. What if the point of banking wasn't to bank at all, but to put your ideas to work? What if your bank asked, what if a little more? Well, what if we told you we do? We're American Bank and Trust, where what if meets why not? If you're ready to change what you get out of banking, start a relationship with us. What if you made the move today?
The Corner Station Convenience Store and the Crossing Pub are both conveniently located on Pleasant Drive in Pierce, South Dakota. At the Corner Station, grab your favorite hot and cold beverages and snacks while filling your vehicle up with Cenex brand gasoline. The Corner Station also features a super tunnel car wash to keep your vehicle sparkling clean. At the Crossing, grab a cold beverage and check out their selection of appetizers while watching the Stanley County Buffaloes and Pierre Governors live on their big screen televisions. Best of luck to all area students from the Corner Station and the Crossing.
Futures aren't made.
Season. The Trojans will go on the road and take on Kimball White Lake next week. Stanley County will stay at home and try to right the ship against Leola Frederick area. Quickly recapping the scoring for you. Gage Jadozzi started it off with a 2-yard touchdown run for the Trojans, and they would convert the 2-point conversion. Gage Reichert would catch a 15-yard touchdown pass. That was actually a 15-yard touchdown run. The pass was caught by Mason Jervik on a 12-yard pass route into the back of the end zone. Stanley County, a lot of turnovers tonight, including one in the end zone. Johnny Weber would dive on a loose ball in the end zone for a touchdown recovery. They also got a safety after Stanley County would get a stop on 4th and goal from their own 1-yard line. The ensuing play would be a bubble screen outside to Landon Boehm, who was tackled. The ball came loose and careened out of the end zone for a safety. And Sean Deckert with a 31-yard touchdown on a punt return to get us to 40-0, our final score tonight. As we look around the league at some scores from earlier this evening, we'll start in 9-man. 62-7 was the final score. Sully Buttes getting the win over Burke. Avon beat Sioux Falls Lutheran 62-20. Cologne was blanked by Platte Geddes 52-0. Harrod Selby area, they get the win 42-0 over Northwestern. Close one between Ipswich and Faulkton area. Ipswich gets the win 34-30. Kadoka took down Lyman in a low-scoring affair, 18-14. Arlington over Wilmot, 20-18. Scotland Minnow over Corsica Stickney, 44-30. Some other scores for you. Leola Frederick area, the opponent next week for the Buffaloes, lost to Britton Hecla, 36-6. Hill City, last week's opponent for the Buffaloes, won tonight, 43-6, and moved to 2-0 on the season. Hamlin beat Hanson in a close one, 29-23. Great Plains Lutheran beat Wabash Summit 36-6. Gregory blanks Trip Delmont Armor ACDC 51-0. Freeman Marion Freeman Academy, they moved to 2-0 on the season, beating Bonham 57-7. And Garrettson beat DeSmet 35-24. Bennett County over New Underwood 44-6. Up to 11-man football, St. Thomas More over Mount Vernon Plankinton 29-8. Miller Highmore Harrell beat Hot Springs in a close one, 13-10. McCook Central Montrose beat Webster area 42-8. Parker beat Beresford 28-6. Mobridge Pollock gets the win in their first game of the season, 29-8. Chamberlain shut out Aberdeen Roncalli 27-0. Wagner over Winter 34-20. Madison beat Bellefouche 35-0. Sioux Falls Christian over West Central 24-0. Lennox over Vermilion 35-18. Canton over Rapid City Christian 27-6. Milbank took care of Lakota Tech 64-0. Pierre currently at the end of the first half in a low-scoring game with Aberdeen Central out in front 3-0. Yankton over Huron 41-24. Going back to that Pierre game, you might know they had to deal with some of this rain and lightning. Got started much later than we did here. You can listen to that game on River 92.7 and also stream it live on drgnews.com. T-Area took down Spearfish 22-14. Sturgis over Brookings 26-21. Mitchell beat Douglas 57-0. Sioux Falls Jefferson over Watertown 51-7. We'll have all the scores for you on the local sports page at drgnews.com first thing tomorrow morning. Once all of the games go final, that's where you can find it. Well, we got to hand out a Player of the Game shirt, sponsored by Bauman Lumber. As you might have guessed, a Player of the Game probably coming from Parkston, but they're getting on the bus and they're heading out of here quickly, so we wouldn't be able to get them their shirt. If it was going to be somebody, it would be Mason Jervik. What a game he had, a couple turnovers, a couple interceptions, 12-yard touchdown reception. He was the Stanley County Hart Award winner tonight, something Stanley County hands out to their opponents after each game here in Fort Pierre. But we're going to give this one to Ezra Rutherford, who checked in and made some big plays, including some big runs late in the ball game. He sure played with a lot of heart there in the fourth quarter, getting his opportunity, making the most of it, and laying the lumber on his run. So he's tonight's Bauman Lumber Player of the Game. South Dakota Office of Highway Safety reminds you to text or drive. There is no and. You've got some place to be, especially on a night like tonight where the roads are slick and the traffic is picking up. And if you enjoyed listening to this game on KGFX, you can also listen live on the DRG News app. Big thanks to Bauman Lumber, our sports video sponsor, and Venture Communications, who is our KGFX sports sponsor. Next week, we'll be on the air just after 6:30 when Stanley County welcomes in Leola Frederick area. You can listen to that game right here on KGFX. Hoping for better weather. Be hard to beat the crowd we had here on hand tonight. A lot of folks excited to come out and see Stanley County play at their brand new football complex. But we'll be back here, and you can also watch next week's game live on drgnews.com. One final look at our Wegner Auto scoreboard. Parkston Trojans get the win, improve to 1-1 on the season with a 40-0 shutout of Stanley County, who falls to 0-2. We'll be back next week with more Stanley County football coverage. Signing off here on Friday night, I'm Justin Cowart. Have a great Friday evening and a great long weekend, everybody.